Hey, welcome to another episode of Heroes of Noise. This is Patreon 48. And if you're listening on the main feed, still Patreon 48. We're just letting you in on it. Why are we doing this? Because we have a special guest with us today, and that is Chris Slow from the band Bulk. Bulk is going to be going on tour throughout November with the Super Suckers, so make sure to check them out. And another reason that I'm here chatting in your ear, as opposed to you listening to the intro and everything else, is that, well, we kind of started this one with a cold open. We just kept talking, really. Mostly Chris and Steve in this case, because this was the episode I'm calling The Day the Musicians took over. Music was needing to be talked about in this one, and I was just pushing the movie thing because we planned for it. So it all works out in the end, you know what I mean? But I hope you enjoy this episode. And again, if you're anywhere near where Volk is going to be playing, check them out. Give your love to Chris and Elliot. They're a great band, and help this band blow up. All right, that's enough from me. Talk to you later.
Look, it's a bird, it's a plane. Oh no, it's none of those. It's Steve and Dan coming back to attack a brand new episode. Don't be scared, don't be afraid. They'll cut through the noise, they'll save the day. The Heroes of Noise, talking reviews, movies, TV, music, or whatever they choose. No matter what, you're in for a treat. Get ready, get set, get up on your feet and make some noise. We needed a hero, and well, now we have two. Make some noise. We needed a hero, and well, now we have two. Make some noise. We needed a hero, and well, now we have two. Make some noise. We needed a hero, and well, now we have two.
Not that much money going on. Or at least there's not being much money handed to the artist, as they make it appear like, okay, I'm wearing all these nice outfits and things like that, and all this stuff is going on, but like that's actually putting us way in the red.
Oh, for sure. And I think everyone wants to do that, because if somebody goes to a Beyonce concert and then you're like, well, what's going to make them come to me if I'm just sitting on a stool under a light? We have to do this something sort of thing. And they're like, okay, now you're in the red. Now you're officially in the red.
To get that attention, like it's almost like it's what, like, you know, the TikTok influencers,
exactly,
people trying to go viral find out. It's like, okay, cool, I got 1 million views on this thing. It's like, it doesn't equate to any money.
Zero, bro.
Like, the only people getting rich off it are the owners of the companies and things like that.
Exactly. And it's sad, because I bet you in my brain a Chris Stapleton performance should cost $5,000 at the most.
Yeah.
And I bet you his budget for each concert, I'm like, where do you spend $100,000 on this stage? Like, where? But I bet you it happened. I bet you that's he has a lot of people he's supporting on that tour. And I'm like, if that costs that much, who knows how much these other bands cost, you know?
Yeah.
No, you know what? That's true. Because I remember those three brothers that like play the banjo and an upright bass, and I'm like, well, their band, it makes me rethink, well, maybe their concert staging is a lot of money too. I'm like, who knows?
Yeah.
These poor guys, man. And ladies and them and theirs and everyone. I feel terrible.
Take someone like Iron Maiden or something like that. They have this massive stage production, pyrotechnics, every show. I could only imagine what they're spending.
Yeah.
Well, I think Prince, I remember during the 2000 Forever tour, he did a deal where he would obviously he'd give away CDs with each ticket, which would go to his, technically I sold 1 million, I sold 1 million CDs, and he would get a piece of the door. He's like, instead of getting paid, I want the door. And I'm like, oh, that's a guarantee if you are Prince. But a lot of people are like, no, I might fill this part way, but behind the stage isn't filled at all. And that's 1,000 people.
It's really interesting to see, like over the last couple of years, to see how all this works, and like sometimes, and we're kind of getting to the point where it's like in some markets, like we want the door, we can make way much more money than if you give us a guarantee. Like if we get the full amount of the door, we get people to pay that much money and get that many people, like all that money can go to us.
Yes,
that can behoove you. But then sometimes you kind of are thankful for that guarantee when you got to play, like, I don't know, what's a town I can talk shit of that will just nobody will care.
Fresno.
Hey, that necromantic show was great.
Yeah, that was a fun one, man.
I mean, there was some human feces on the street.
That's Fresno. That's a daily Fresno thing right there. At least on that side of town.
That place was packed out, man.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, I think we talked about it. It's like, we've been so spoiled with the West Coast, because The booking agency that we were with, we've just moved over to a different one because our booker moved over and he took us with him. Like we're gonna hit the West Coast 3 times in a year, or in the span of a year. Like, because that was crazy enough, almost a year ago.
Which is bonkers.
And then we went back with Electric Six, and now we're about to go back with Super Suckers.
Is that going to be your biggest tour, Super Suckers?
This year, I mean, gosh, it's always so hard to tell.
Or let me ask you another way: is that the biggest band you've toured with?
It's always so hard to tell what that means anymore.
That's
like
true.
they're definitely, I guess. Well, I'm not really sure how old
they're veterans is the thing.
They're
though,
veterans.
You know what I mean?
They started as a band. Like the main guy, Eddie Spaghetti. Like I think he's the only original member. They started in 1987, so I was like 5 when they started. No, not even. Yeah, 5. I think Necromantics might be an older band. I don't remember. They're both 80s starts, and then Electric Six started in the 2000s. The biggest band that we've ever played for is probably the Dead South, and we played to like something like 800 people in St. Louis.
Oh wow,
that's a lot of people, dude.
Oh, it's great. Like if you can play to 800 people, and if you're on that level, and you're taking the door, and you're like, semi-independent band, you're making great money.
You're making a kill. I mean, dude, and
you have a small operation. Yeah,
dude, if you can get 800 people every night, or even in between 6 and 8, you're in the clear, bro.
Yeah, you're definitely you don't have that much. Maybe you have a sound guy, a TM, which is a tour manager. I bet you could clear $100,000 pretty easily a year,
dude.
As a musician,
come on, man.
Yeah,
that's the life. You're about to live the dream, sir.
I'm into it. I was like doing the math. It's like, man, if Elliot and I could get to the point where we're making $1,000 a show, and or where we're paid, because like right now, like the official Volk income is like $100 per show. But if we got to the point where it's like $1,000,
dude,
we play like 100 shows a year, which is doable. That's doable.
Totally.
Like we got to the point where we were like doing over 200 shows a year. That gets to where it gets kind of gnarly, like mentally. It's just like, yes. I don't realize that I live in Nashville, Tennessee, but like that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and you're on your way, man. I see you building your fan base. I see it, bro.
We'll see.
Oh, I see it.
No, ever since you guys opened up that page on Facebook, it's cool to see like the fans that you guys are picking up along the way.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like that was like an ego boost thing, because we have band friends who have those pages that fans have started, and we were playing Bloomington, Illinois. And some fan says like, "Oh, we want to start one of those Facebook pages for us." Like, "Oh, please do. That's awesome. That would be amazing. That would like make me feel validated as a person."
Dude, you guys are exploding. I'm gonna go ahead and say I knew you win.
Oh, we'll see. I don't know. It's hard, I guess, when you're inside of it and you don't realize it, and you're comparing yourself constantly on Instagram with other people.
That's the danger, man.
That's the danger.
That's the danger, because that hedonic treadmill where it's just like you reach the person you were following, but now you're following someone else who has, I get 20 grand. You're like, oh, God.
Oh, gosh. And I need to just tell myself just that sometimes, I mean, it's like, it's a little bit evil of just like the people I used to be like jealous of when Elliot and I first started, and we were in Berlin, Germany. And we're like, oh gosh, they're playing that venue. Oh, and they're doing this. It's like, well, we've surpassed that. Like,
dude, you are touring. That the crazy thing is, a lot of us musicians are like, man, Vogue is like touring, man. We couldn't even imagine doing that. That's like, wow, they're like touring, and people are coming and hearing and buying T-shirts.
Yeah, but like as we were just talking about, just like they're just big bands having to cancel tours, and then I'd be interested to know if that when we were young, the festival, the first day got canceled.
Oh, did it really?
Jeez.
Well, the first day did. And they said it was because of wind.
No.
And I'm like, was it, or is it because Blink-182 is trying to charge $600 per ticket?
So punk rock.
Yeah, so punk rock.
That is so crazy to me. I mean, people genuinely were like, oh, they're going on tour. Then like two tweets later, they're like, they're charging what?
Yeah.
For this tour?
Well, it's like the Rage thing. I wanted to go see Rage. It's like, I never got to see Rage. And it's like, I don't.
I know. I was struggling with that one too. And I love Run the Jewels. And I'm like, I'm having a hard time putting down that kind of coin just for two bands. You know what I mean? A 45-minute set and probably a 70-minute set, something like that. It's really hard to do.
Yeah.
But he fixed it for us. He fixed it for us. He just quit, which was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it took all the pressure off.
Yeah. He tore his Achilles, right?
Yeah. Second night of the tour.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. So we spent like half the tour, Steve, just sitting on an amp.
Yeah.
And then he just said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this to the band, and I got to get myself fixed up. So
you know who would have kept the tour going?
Steve Hudson?
Your boy, Grohl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying the same thing, and like Grohl gave his throne to Axl Rose when he broke his leg. It's kind of becoming a repetitive theme of like all these
older people. Yeah, they're like, we can't jump really off of these speakers anymore.
But like, I mean, like it doesn't really go with the whole aesthetic of Rage Against the Machine, though. If they have a
no, you're right.
To sit on.
No, that's not much rage. How much rage can you show from a seated? But same with Guns N' Roses. I couldn't imagine him doing Paradise City on like seated.
It's true.
This is weird.
But like, you can't be like, oh, this is the most like anti-capitalist, like screw the establishment when the guy's sitting on a throne of guitars and I'm sitting next to Guy Fieri after paying $1,000 for this seat.
That's not Raging Against the Machine either, though. You know what I mean?
Like, I am part of the machine right now.
You ain't lying, dude. You ain't lying. I am too. I pay ridiculous amounts of money for these tickets to see people, but I'm like, man, after the concert, you're like, I've seen like Paul McCartney now. I could walk away saying, in my life, I saw this guy.
You know, Colleen and I went and saw, we got to go see Elton John at Nissan.
How was it, dude?
It was, so this is my first stadium show, and I'm kind of hoping it's my last. Like, it's only worth it because Colleen's going to quietly sneak in the room here to bring me coffee.
Come on. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Awesome betrothed. I can't call her girlfriend anymore. I got to remember to say Yonsei is what we say.
Yonsei.
Yonsei. We're not recording it. It's okay. I don't think we're recording it.
We have been. It's okay. It's all on it. I'll put it in there somewhere.
But now we have good stuff now.
We've got good shit to start the show off. This is just a sample of what you're going to get today.
That was really good. I'm glad you're recording, Dan.
Hey man, I do my job.
Wow.
You do.
You can use it. You can use it. I'll as Colleen says, it's like it's lucky you're cute.
Yeah. So
she tells me.
You did like the Elton John. Where were you?
So it was Nissan Stadium here in Nashville. I would say, as I said, like hopefully my last stadium concert, but only worth it because it's Elton John. I wouldn't be able to see. I think I'm trying to think of like I would see Foo Fighters. I would see Elton John. I would see Springsteen. I would see Tool, my favorite band ever. But it's like, if it's like a band that I'm kind of into, I wouldn't do it because like the performer is a little ant on stage.
Yeah, for real, dude.
And like, you just don't really feel the intimacy in it anymore. But like, Elton John it's Elton John, and he's like jumping out of his seat after every song and things like that. And there's all this interactive stuff. But I don't think I'd want to do another stadium thing. Like we were so lost trying to find our seats, we missed the opening, which was Benny and the Jets. And I was like,
He opened with Benny and the Jets.
Like, first of all, why do you open with?
You don't do that. You got to let people get seated and chill.
Yeah. People are still standing in line trying to get their merch.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Yeah,
and that's why I'm like, fuck Elton John. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
He and Dave Grohl and Brandy Carlisle are people, like celebrities I would probably cry if I actually met them in person.
Well, you will
like,
be meeting
which out
them,
of joy.
I guarantee. Like when Elton does his duet album, I'll be like with Vogue, right? Of course, he's gonna do a song with Vogue.
Well,
for sure.
I'm hoping because this is like his 6th farewell tour, if I understand
Oh, he's
correctly.
coming back.
It's like Kiss.
The thing is, he loves attention,
Well, also it's because if you read his biography, he loves to shop,
which was great, dude.
yeah, it's
how
awesome.
good
It's
was
so
that?
good. It made me fall in like that's why I would cry, just like knowing his journey now.
Dude.
Like, because like if you're coming to it from like 90s grunge kids, like what is this? This is not my thing. And then just knowing how rock and roll it is, how
dude.
that man probably did more cocaine than you should be allowed to be able to do and be alive,
dude. When you read his book and you listen to how fast he was blasting through these albums,
yeah,
in that whatever that barn
Blasting, good
studio
word.
was. Like that barn studio, they were staying there like, oh, I'd wake up, they would already have the vocals or the background vocals done, and I'd come in, put some, I'm like, dude, these guys were just like.
Yeah. And the same guitar player has been with him forever, and he's a badass, and I never realized that until you actually see him play.
Dude, that's such a good biography. And he's a good guy. He's realized he had to learn things.
He's put some good in the world.
Yes.
Like, especially in the AIDS epidemic.
Dude.
I thought it was, we are recording, but I don't know how to read too much into it. It's like when he played Candle in the Wind, he just did the Marilyn Monroe version. But I was like, oh, is he kind of giving a slap to the monarchy? Or does he just not like the Queen because of Diana?
It was definitely a slap, dude.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, yeah, because, we don't have to get.
Was this after the Queen's death?
After the Queen's death. This was like the beginning of October 2nd.
For sure, bro.
Yeah.
He normally does the normal version.
Yeah.
Why would he do the you already know.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to see that though.
But it was awesome. Like, as I said, like maybe it's just the performer part of me and just being addicted to that. Like, what makes the show great and what's so frustrating doing shows now, I guess in the modern era, where people think like, you're not watching Netflix. This is interactive. Yes. We are like having a conversation together that's maybe not through words, but it's like we're partying together or we're celebrating together. And you kind of lose that intimacy, I guess, that I enjoy from the stadium. It would have to be a very special person or a special act for me, I think, to want to go do a stadium thing.
Now, what I would say the percentage of actual musicians that are recording or touring musicians that can do stadium tours.
None.
What percent is that?
None that's less than 30 years old. Probably.
There we go. That's smart. Yeah.
Like
Taylor Swift may be the only one, really.
Yeah. Taylor's. I should amend my statement. Any rock band. There is no rock band that's less. Like, I think what is Foo Fighters now? They're 27?
27 this year.
Yeah. Like, no rock band younger than that, I don't think could.
Isn't that crazy? It used to be like these young bands would just do these stadium tours. Like back in the day, these rock artists were like 24, 25, doing stadium tours. Yeah. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Rock's never replenished its...
Oh, that's
like the new era, basically. There's no... Or, I mean, Elliot and I talk about this a lot. It's just like there are rock artists. There's amazing rock artists. And there is being innovation in rock. Just like there has been in, hip hop and other genres. It's just that it's not brought to it has no microphone. Everybody has a microphone now. That's the problem. Sturgill Simpson pointed that out. It's like everybody has a microphone. It's all just, white noise. It's just being able to get above that.
That's hard, dude. And sometimes it's happenstance. It's just like something clicks on SoundCloud randomly, and all of a sudden this woman is just popular. Yeah. Now they're at Doja Cat's popular now because she got a hit SoundCloud. You're like, oh, it can just happen then.
Yeah.
But for other people, that doesn't necessarily, translate. You could have a good following, but it doesn't translate into a stadium. The stadium tours are, I mean, I'm always impressed by, even if I don't like the artist, I'm like, they do stadiums? I didn't know,
yeah.
What's his name? What's the dude with all the tattoos on his face?
Post Malone.
Post Malone does stadium tours? I said, what?
Yeah. I've really actually kind of grown to like Post Malone just because he does have a good attitude about things.
I'm the same way. I don't really care for his music, but I like the guy.
I like it when he does that one song with The Weeknd. That might be my jam. The One Right Now song is actually kind of a banging tune. But
I gained respect for him when he fell, and he just got back up and finished the show.
Yeah. But I mean, stadiums, I just don't know if they're fun places to watch music anyways, because I would never want to play it because you literally have to go in and rent the stadium as the artist. Jesus. Talk about expenses before and practice it 2 times or something like that. Or this is just arenas, because talk about the sound being different. Like, just going from your garage onto an actual stage in front of people is this like massive quantum leap forward of sonic dynamics that you just aren't anticipating.
Absolutely. Even if they're clapping along with the song, they're so off because of the echo that you have to just ignore what they're doing and listen to the click. And if you have a click track in your ear, just be like, let's just focus on what the click is in our ears, because man.
Yeah. So it's just like I learned that when I was working like some crew production stuff when I first got to Nashville. It's just like, wait a minute, this isn't the actual show tonight. This is a rehearsal that we're setting up everything for, and like getting those trust fall things and like the people up on the Raptors,
That's
like,
nuts, dude.
Like, yeah, and just like this is just for a rehearsal. How much money is being put into this, and who is actually making any money off of this? And I had
No, go ahead. You had.
No, it's just I was talking with. It's a weird story. We'll have to probably get into it, but I recently got to hang out in Sedona, Arizona, with the former winemaker of Maynard James Keenan of Tool.
Okay, stop. That's going into the thing. I'm shutting this up right now, and I'm resetting the fucking clock here, and we're going to do this. Now you got stories.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's just
we have good stuff now. We have really good stuff.
Well, it's actually I'm going to be like Maynard, who only ever wants to talk about his wine in any interview. But it got onto the conversation of so Adam was talking about like any winery, if you're in the black, you're doing great. Like most businesses that you see that look amazing are like probably most restaurants you go eat at are in the red.
Jesus.
And like, so probably most of the musicians that you're seeing are probably like, I feel like I've probably said this on the show before, like the rise of the duo has nothing to do with some cultural phenomenon. Just Jack White and Meg White just had that magic. Great band. White Stripes are a great band. But like, I think the rise of the duo, and it's awesome that they made it okay. Them and the Black Keys made it, culturally okay. It's like, okay, this isn't that weird that only 2 people are making all this noise on stage. But the reason why I find that there's so many of us is because it's just economic. Like, that's true. You're not going to make any money as a 5-person band. You're just not. Not for what venues are going to pay. And like, because you're competing with Netflix, you're competing with YouTube, you're competing with TikTok to get that amount of people to come out to your shows. And like venues are going off pre-sales and artists are, and that's why probably you are seeing even now the larger acts have to cancel tours.
Which is insane.
And I thought it was just like, of course, we're all just going to be not true to our word of like, oh, we're going to come out of COVID and this is just a COVID thing. And we're all going to come out and we're going to support live music. And it's just like, nah, people are still staying in. The bands, that's why, I mean, you can put this in the thing, Dan. It's just like, it's really hard to tell what acts like, and it's really hard for Elliot and I who like our guarantees are nothing. Essentially, they work for a duo and they both go okay for a duo, but we really rely upon merch sales.
Jesus.
And we can't sometimes tell how much merch to get because we don't know when we're doing these opening acts, which are, essential to us to grow our markets. Like that's how the music industry worked. Like you have an upcoming act open for a bigger act so they can be exposed to those markets and build their own markets. But some of the acts, like, we don't know if they're drawing or not. And it's not a guaranteed thing. Like with Electric Six, we were pretty much guaranteed that we knew we were going to have about 100 people each night.
That's a good amount. It's
a great amount, especially for us. You know, if we do our thing, we play a good show, then we'll make a good amount of money. And like that Electric Six tour that we did in spring paid for our second album.
Jeez.
Like we were able to go into a nice studio. Elliot and I both says like, all right, we're both going to take a pay cut and we're going to, maybe we'll just do $50 a day or something like that. And we were able to pay pretty much for the whole album and the recording. And that's, all the recordings. And I'm excited to talk to Steve about, isn't it fun making an album thinking that it's just the recording that you have to do?
Oh, dude. That's the fun part is that.
That's the fun part.
The mixing.
The mixing.
Oh, my God. Where do you get it printed?
Yeah.
Do you want, and making sure the liner notes are right. You're like, Jesus, dude, are we? And then doing the ASCAP or BMI thing where you have to register. Am I doing it right? Did I write the name down? Or bro?
And this the lightning bolts that have to strike, just like getting everything lined up of like having the medium ready to be sold, and then having the PR around the medium and having a music video around the PR.
Bro. It's almost, I get why, like, I totally understand why the Beatles were like, we're not touring anymore. We're just going to record because it's too much. It's too much. You can't keep your creativity going if you have us doing all this stuff. We just can't.
Well, this was why a label was created, because you need all these things. You need a whole team working on the marketing and the merchandise, and then you need a whole team on the graphic design, and you need a team on the booking and on the team on the PR. And like the reason why it's just little baby steps for artists now is just like, because it's just that person doing all of that.
That is so, I don't even know how someone does it. I don't understand.
In the name of just getting people to come see you play, because that's the only way that you can actually make any money.
Jeez, because now album sales are gone. Though that's not even an option. Album sales don't exist hardly.
Why would I buy an album when I have the entire catalog of music in front of me, essentially for what is Spotify monthly? What is it, like $10?
$7, $10?
Yeah.
Everything
Why would I buy
ever.
any physical medium
exactly.
for that?
Ever. Unless you're getting streamed like Drake 1 billion times a month, then you're making some money. But who's getting 1 billion times a month?
It's and then that's like where you're seeing like you really have to be one of those mega acts, because you need 1 billion streams just to make like $1 million.
That's it.
Because when you say 1 billion times 0.00007,
exactly,
it's not as much.
Jeez, dude, and it's so depressing. It's almost like, okay, now musicians are just gonna have regular jobs. You're gonna have a normal job, but you're also gonna do this thing.
You have to, but you can't, if you want to be a touring musician like Elliot and I are, you have to have a weird job that's not going to have benefits. It's not going to have any sort of like consistent income. Uh-huh. So like, that's why was running late to this thing. So it's like, I'm going to do this maintenance work thing for a company that doesn't care when I'm in town. They just like, are you in town? Do you want to go do this job?
That's a cool job, dude. That's a cool job.
I mean, it helped Volk do the work, do the touring before. Like Elliot was doing house cleaning, and I was working in this maintenance thing where basically I was just a glorified trash guy for an Airbnb company. And because you don't, like, if you're not in town, they just find somebody else to do it.
Simple as that. But the good thing is that you won't get fired. They're like, oh, you're on tour? Cool. Come in when you can.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you got, I'm telling you, you're on the cusp of getting on like Colbert. Watch, dude. You're going to get your shot. I remember one guy that was in the music industry once told me at one of these ASCAP gets together, he says, you will get your at bat 100%. It's a fact of what do you do when are you going to knock it out the park? And sometimes you don't know it's your at bat. Someone's in the crowd you did not know was there. And next thing you know, it's the one time that you didn't put on the great performance. He's like, so always be ready for your at bat.
Well, you have to, especially in this day and age, like, well, there's another act called American Aquarium, and they're great, and they're just like, they're a band that did like 300 shows a year for like 13 years.
Dude.
But it's really like one guy, BJ Barnum. Like he said like, I've gone through like 39 members in this band. That's how many people have like had to leave because it's so grueling. But it's just like, you have to have not just one thing happen, one miracle. You got to have 4 or 5 hit in a row. And then you have to be ready to do something with that. That's, and it's just like, who even knows? But it's just like it's so, it's almost like it sucked before with just like the gatekeepers and the labels and like it can go into TV. Like there's another podcast I like to listen to, The Watch, where they were talking about, I don't know what is the shared thing of like what show is great or not, because everybody has an opinion and like, does She-Hulk suck? Is it amazing? Is it middle of the road? And it's just like, you literally just have to make your own personal decision whether you enjoyed it or not, because there's no gatekeeper, essentially.
That's true.
And it's in the music of like, oh crap, like WAP was, I feel like, the big winner of COVID. But like, are we talking about Cardi B right now as much as we were at that point?
Hell no.
Like nobody can keep anything's attention anymore in this postmodern era. It's nuts.
Well, I'll tell you that Volk kept our attention.
Oh, well, thank you.
My girl still is a fan.
Hell yeah.
She wears her shirt.
Well, are you guys, do you think, I don't know Californian geography still very well. How far away is Fresno from maybe San Francisco?
We're about 2.5 hours.
That's not bad.
Which is not bad.
If you guys want to come, you guys have guest list spots.
I'll tell you right now, I am definitely trying to get there. Here's my situation real quick, is that I may be getting a new job.
Oh, shit.
In that time frame. And just depends on how that works out. If it works out where I have the new job, I'm good. I'll be there. If not, it's kind of iffy. But yeah, I want to be there for sure, man.
It's apparently like
hold on real quick, Chris. I'm sorry. Hold on. I gotta do this real quick, and then we'll just keep on moving. Hi. Apparently, you're listening to a Heroes of Noise Patreon episode. It's episode 48. I'm Dan. You probably won't hear much from me, but I just wanted to go ahead and insert my dick right into that little audio vagina for just a quick second. With us, we'll get things going real quick. But what we have going on here, see, Chris, you kind of fucked it up a little bit because I had this going for you. I had this going for you right here. All right, everyone. We got a guest today. I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm just fucking cutting in. We have a guest today. You may already know who this is, being that we've been talking for about 75 minutes straight already. But with us, the one and only Chris Lowe of the band Volk. Just listen to that. See how I did the kind of like the same shit. Kind of like what he plays a little bit, but not really at all. Anyway, let's get back to the conversation. I'm Dan. I'll probably talk to you next episode. See ya.
I was shocked that, dude, welcome back, bro.
Thank you. Well, I mean, we got a lot talked about because, like,
it's fine. This is Patreon. I don't care.
Dan, I have a bone to pick with you. I watched Grimcutty. Do you have to understand how big of a point?
You got just save it. You got to save it because I've got feelings. Trust me, I've got feelings.
I have to. Like, I am a complete coward. Like, it is a big deal for me to watch a scary movie.
Yeah.
So,
you were serious when you said that, then?
Oh yeah, I can't watch scary films. Like the most thing I can usually do is Stranger Things. Like I like even a movie I don't see. Like I never watched the Freddy Krueger movies or the Jason movies, but just the commercials, just literally the boxes on the VHS terrified me.
Oh man, I should have got you one on Terrifier 2 then. I had no idea.
Oh no, I saw that. Oh, clowns. Oh no, we can't.
Murderous clowns with lots of gore, lots of it.
Oh man.
Superhuman murderous clowns, by the way.
Oh man!
And that's the funny thing is, Grimcutty's the one thing I wasn't able to watch. So I'm going to listen to you guys.
Okay, you know what? Let's just get that one out of the fucking way real quick.
Here's the thing: those DVD covers. When it looks good, I know. Oh, that's where they put the money at.
Yeah.
That's where the money went. Is that because I guarantee it's not that scary.
Yeah.
Now let's get this one out of the way. I think Chris will probably be glad we did. But let's do this real quick. So. All right, guys, I signed some movies for young Chris here to watch with us. One of them, of course, was the one we're going to be talking about right now, which is a Hulu original called Grimcutty. A suburban teen girl and her little brother must stop a terrifying internet meme brought to life by the hysteria of their parents. It's directed by John Ross, written by John Ross, and stars Shannon Sosaman, Sarah Wolfkind, and Usman Ali. So...
Love his work.
I'm going to start off on this one, Chris, just because I want to say something, first of all. And I want to say, I just want to give you my sincerest apologies for watching this fucking movie. Because here's the deal. Spoilers, this movie blows. Man, listen, when I was looking for something to watch, I was skimming through, and I don't know what services you have or anything like that, Chris. I didn't want to put you out too much, of course. So I'm like, this looks good. 'Tis the season. We'll watch some scary stuff. And here's my thought process. I don't know if you probably haven't seen the movie, The Babadook. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. But Steve, you have, right?
I have.
So I'm seeing, Grimcutty. I see the picture of this creature on the trailer, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's like the Babadook. And I loved the Babadook, so this will be a fun one to watch. So I waited until yesterday to watch this movie. I just put it off. Yeah, I put it off. And I swear to God, Chris, I almost called you and texted you rather, and was like, if you haven't watched this yet, we can probably talk for 75 minutes about something else before we start, because oh my fucking God, Steve, you dodged a bullet. This is a shit movie. Like, it's really, really bad, dude. Go ahead.
The worst insult I can ever come up with for anything usually is it makes you believe in the existence, or like make you lose faith in the existence of a benevolent God. Like, this one is soul crushing. Like how bad it is. And the thing is maybe you disagree, but I was like, the premise seems okay. Like, I get it.
Yeah, I know it's going to be like a socially conscious, relevant topic that we're going to be that this movie will be about, and I'm sure they'll try and tie in the horror with it too and everything like that. But it's like they missed the mark on just explaining the movement or the message that they're trying to convey. It was just a mess, man.
What was that movie with Jennifer Lopez? This is going to be a complete side tangent. Jennifer Lopez and George Clooney, and they're like robbers.
Out of Sight?
Out of Sight. When the guy, he has the gun on George Clooney and he starts to run up the stairs and he trips and he shoots himself in the head?
Yeah. It's been a long time, but I do remember you talking about.
This is that movie. This is that literally you're pointing your gun at somebody to shoot them and you trip and fall and shoot yourself. This is literally that.
This has put me in, Coach. Yeah, this has put me in, Coach. I'm ready to play. Shit, I just rolled my ankle. It's. Oh my God.
This is Rage Against the Machine about to rage, and he steps up and he breaks his Achilles tendon.
Oh, like this is like Apologize to the Machine or something. I don't know. It's just so bad. It's so bad because I really wanted to like it. I mean, I even liked the creature design, even at certain points when I'm looking at it. The creature looks
scary as fuck,
right?
And that's why I was so scared to watch it. And because it was taken from the Momo thing, right?
Yeah,
that whole panic of the Japanese sculpture. It's like, okay, that actually is a really cool idea, but I didn't take any notes on the movie, but
no, trust me, I did not either.
The first thing, there is a problem when you are allowing your child, and I like to consider myself, progressive as hell, to the fullest extent that I feel like it's reasonable. But if you're allowing your child to do ASMR, what? Take those kids away from those parents. They're worried about some cutting thing, and you're letting your kid, your 14-year-old daughter do ASMR?
It's like parents clearly don't know that people are like jerking off to this shit on TikTok. You know what I mean? You know what I feel sorry for, Chris? I feel sorry for Sarah Wolfkind in this movie, who played Asha. Yeah. She was like the only decent thing that held this movie together. Like, you had a pretty decent actress.
I thought all the actings were I was really sad. Like the dad, you're really going all in, but this movie is so stupid.
Oh, he was like champion of the helicopter parents too, man.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I actually hated the parents. I hated pretty much everything about this movie except for Asha. I just felt bad that she was in this movie trying to do what she could. Everybody? What's that?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
what happened there?
Did you lose your audio?
I did for a second, but I'm back.
Oh, you're good. I said nothing important. It's all right.
Okay. Well, I'm just it's a horror film, or like my two last comments are like, if it's a horror film, even though I don't like horror films, but if I can get them to watch them, I expect not to be so bored that I just start going and cleaning dishes.
Yeah. That's the thing. This movie's an hour and 40 minutes long.
Oh
right?
my God.
So I'm
dude.
sitting there to piggyback off what Chris is saying. I'm sitting there watching this movie. Gail has checked out. She checked out about 15 minutes into this movie.
With good reason.
Yeah, with good reason. And I'm just sitting there trying to be dedicated watching this thing because I was the bastard that asked you guys to watch it. And again, you saved yourself, you dodged a bullet. But I'm like, this movie's got to be over soon. Like it's got to be over soon. We're not even halfway through this bitch. It's just dragging. It's so bad, dude. It's so bad. Like, listen, we won't spend a lot of time on this one because there's plenty to talk about. Trust me. But I will tell you this: if you have not seen Grimcutty on Hulu, do not watch this movie. If you do, it's on you. Like it's totally on you. And don't say that we didn't warn you. But movie. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, no. I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. It's just another insult. No, this movie is just straight trash. And I just feel sorry for the people that spent their time making it because I don't know. It's a swing and a miss, I guess. I think that there was potential behind this movie.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way, it just got completely fucked. And I will go ahead and give this one, I don't even know. Like I want to be kind of mean about it, but at the same time, people did spend their time on it, and it's not poorly shot or anything like that. I mean, the special
there's plenty of budget.
Yeah, there's budget. Their special effects aren't bad. It's just this movie solely suffers from the script. It's just a really, really terrible script, and it could have been edited down to probably. Well, there's another one that we're going to be talking about that it could have been edited down to about that, and I think it would have been okay. But for Grimcutty, I think I'm going to go ahead and just give this one I'm going to give it a 1.75 out of 5. Helicopter Parents, because wow, man, it's probably the worst movie I've seen in a very long time.
Dude.
Yeah, I gotta give it just like your time would be better be served like going to get a quill pen and getting an old ancient thing of parchment and writing out a very distasteful letter to the producers at Hulu and having it mail carried by a horse and like have all that time wasted than spending that hour and 47 minutes watching that piece of garbage.
Jesus.
Yeah. You might want to spend your time having chest pains or, nausea or something like that. It's really not worth the watch, guys. So we did the work for you on this one. You are very, very welcome.
I would give can you go into negative numbers on this show?
Give it up. Like, dude. What do you got?
Like -5 out of
whoa,
like a -5 out of scary overblown or like not scary overblown parent overreactions, like satanic panic momos. I don't know.
We've had plenty of guests on this show, and I have literally never once apologized to anyone for asking them to watch something. This is the first time. I'm sorry that I asked you to watch this.
The silver lining is it allowed us to have that funny ass conversation.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's the best thing that came out of this movie, I think, all the way around.
Yeah. I remember what's the comedian? He does a lot of character voices. He's like on Invincible. He's a funny comedian.
Mantzoukas.
Yeah, he has his podcast, and when he was talking about
how did it get made?
Yeah, and they're talking about cats, and it was like this was a crime against humanity. Like literally, this was a crime against humanity.
Dude, I know the sad thing is now it's turning around. Now it feels like I gotta watch it now. Now I gotta see how bad this is.
Bro, go ahead, but I'm telling you, you're getting yourself into something.
I had more fun with Llamageddon. Like at least that you're
getting.
It's a killer. It's a killer llama from outer space. I think it's on Amazon. Colleen put it on one night as a joke. It's like you definitely need one of those like the helper pill that you gave me that time in Fresno, Dan. You definitely need one of those
allegedly.
I think it was a Tylenol. I had a headache.
You did. He needed to play, and I was there for him.
Yeah.
Damn.
You need one of those. You need that's prime. I think that's why you have Mystery Science Theater and things like that. Like you need movies like that.
But the thing is, Chris, is that those movies know damn well what they are. Like for instance, what was the one you just said?
Llamageddon.
Okay, Llamageddon. Velocipaster. Things like that. They know exactly what they're getting, what they're giving the audience. Whereas I think that the makers of this one thought they were just going for it. Like they had I don't know if they thought they had a hit on their hands, but they definitely thought they were doing a more serious, penetrating type movie than what those other ones are. Where there was no satire is what I'm trying to say. They weren't going for satire.
The meta, just like the meta cognitive dissonance of it. It's just like, it's on the level of The Room, literally. And just how the film ends with her giving a speech about how we need to be more trusting. I didn't even know what she was saying, because she's doing the whole like this is the thesis of the movie. This is the memorial tale. She does it in ASMR.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. And then they have like this Scooby-Doo moment with when you finally find out where the big bad is and what this is about and how we got to where we are. It's very Scooby-Doo-ish. You know what I mean?
Were there any deaths in this movie? Like, it wasn't even scary. Like,
no. The stakes, if you're just getting little boo-boos in the bathroom and such, like the stakes weren't even there. You know what I mean?
This is just literally a modern day Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like, there are no stakes.
This is like those church group people, the parents that believe everything. Like, that's really what it's about. It's like this meme that goes crazy. And what was it? Like Momo, exactly. Like, I remember parents talking about Momo. I remember going, I didn't even know what it was until it popped up on the internet or whatever. But this takes that and just takes it to the extreme and provides satire where satire shouldn't be. You know what I mean? It's just a really bad one. And I think we've given this one enough time, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Jesus. No, that's fine. Like, feel free to bash all you want, but I'm just saying, like, this movie doesn't deserve the attention that we've already given it. And I know that's rough. Like, I don't know if I could go and make this movie. Just like right now, go here, Dan, here's all the money you need. Go make a movie better than this. I got to be honest with you. I don't know if I could, just off of script and everything. But I'm not a movie maker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I expect my movie to suck. This one, these people knew what they were doing, and it's just really terrible.
Like, this definitely, like, I feel like I would give credence to a conspiracy thing of just like, why are so many bad movies? Is like, it's a tax write-off. This has to be a tax write-off.
It could be, dude.
Maybe,
it could very well be. Make no mistake.
But like, how do you do tax write-offs in the age of streaming? Because you don't have a box office, like, to go like, oh, this made a bunch of lost money. Like,
well, the good thing is this should be a very good sign to up and coming filmmakers that think, oh, maybe my idea is not that great. Hey, go do it.
It sets the bar.
Yes, go shoot your shot, man. Apparently, movie's not that great. According to Dan and Chris.
That's how I was able to, like, I love the city of Berlin. That's what kind of where Elliot and I met and kind of got our start. But like, going to the open mics, you do see a lot of really bad performances, and that's what gave me the confidence to like, oh, I can get on stage and not suck that much.
Yeah, I could do better than that.
Like as long as I could just go after that guy. Like,
I just want to give one user review off of IMDb just to give you a taste of what other people think about this one. Let's see. It doesn't matter who it's from. This is a 1 out of 10 stars right here. It says, easiest 1 star I've ever given. I don't believe many things can be a 1 or a 10, but Grimcutty is undoubtedly a 1-star film. There is absolutely nothing redeemable about any part of this film. The acting is awful. The characters are so poorly written. The horror is eye-rollingly bad. The pacing is disgraceful. And do I need to go on? By far the worst film I've seen this year, and possibly one of the worst films I've ever seen. This story is so bad that it's not even so bad it's good. I'd seriously rather spend 2 hours testing out which body part bleeds the most after a paper cut. I like that. Yeah, and I agree. This could be the worst movie I've seen this year.
I think you could just copy and paste like one of those like reviews for like when the person buys the gummy bears, but they're made with the fat substitute or the sugar substitute.
Aspartame.
Aspartame. No, not the sugar. The fat thing, like the stuff they put in Lay's potato chips that makes you shit.
Oh, Lestra.
Lestra, and like the person like eats like the gummies on the plane and just like shits themselves the entire plane. Right?
This movie might give you anal leakage. It's true.
Yes. That gives you a segue to what's the other Dashcam, the prolapsed anus. Like it'll give you a prolapsed anus.
Dude, I did see this one.
Okay. Well, shit. I mean, he segued us into it, man. We got to go ahead and go with this one.
Yes.
So, all right, Dashcam. Let me just pull this. Oh, God. I'm just so glad to be away from Grimcutty. I was really disappointed, man. I thought that one was going to be fun. And I'm sorry again.
No, it's okay. It's just like I got to come on the show and hang out with you guys and talk nonsense.
Absolutely.
There it is. Lemons to lemonade right there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, second review, Dashcam. This one is a shorter movie, and I wish it would have been a little longer, maybe. I'm not saying I liked it. I'm not saying I didn't like it, but I do wish it could have been a little bit longer. I will say two friends embark on a horror-fueled road trip and live stream the most terrifying night of their lives. This is one of those, we'll call it like a found footage type movie. They're getting more and more common now. It's from the, excuse me, from the creator and writer of Host, which I really like. That was the, you guys remember that one? It was the post-COVID, all internet Zoom shot movie. Very interesting.
I don't know if I ever heard of it. I wouldn't have watched it because I would have been terrified.
That one's a genuinely scary movie. If you don't like, horror, then I think that one might creep you out. But so directed by Rob Savage, writers Gemma Hurley, Rob Savage, and Jed Shepard, and it stars Annie Hardy, Amar Shada Patel, and Angela Enahoro. You can catch this one on Hulu as well. Steve, let's get you in a conversation, man. What did you think of Dashcam?
I think it unfortunately suffers for breaking an unspoken rule in horror. It's when you're setting up someone as you're setting up a person as unlikable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You normally do that because you're like, now when they get killed, you're not going to feel horrible because they're so unlikable.
Yeah.
This one did the wrong thing, I think. Because you're waiting for a thing. And I know they were trying to subvert expectations, but once that expectation doesn't happen, you're like, well, then what did I just watch then? Like some of the stuff is so shaky, you don't exactly know what you saw.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the movie is about by the end. I'm like, I know a lot of interesting things happen, but what was it about then? And then what happens after? You can't just end and be like, anyway, and then life goes on. Be like, no, that person had family that you knew. And, how does this all end? Do you just not explain anything? I just was like, okay, I get what you guys are going for, being like, well, maybe no one knows why Angela was the way. No. You got to give us some answer, or do you guys not know the answer? Did you just like, I don't know. We can't answer that. We don't know what she is. So I think it was a lot of cool clips of stuff, but it was so shaky and you just don't get to see hardly anything. I thought it was for what it could have been because you could see the quality on the screen and like, oh, they could have done better. I just was like, man, the girl was way too unlikable for me to hope that anything good happens to her. And B, I'm like, I don't understand what the general movie was about really by the end. So it was just an okay for me.
The premise was so, sorry to just jump in.
No. Yeah. I was going to call on you anyway.
The premise is just so weird of like, she's like this weird, or just like, I don't know how to jump into it. It's just like, I don't see this woman who in her line of work and what she does and to be artistic and things like that, to be maybe an anti-masker or an anti-vaccine, but not like this whole like jump on the board with the MAGA things and like, as he says, like, so the moral of the story is that the MAGA people are going to win.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Or they're only going to be the ones to survive the apocalypse. The cockroaches are the only ones that survive the apocalypse.
So weird.
Yeah.
I do want to say ups for like, it's one of the few things of fiction that's come out that actually acknowledges the existence of COVID.
That's true.
That's very true. I was thinking, it was like, you know what? Nothing that I've watched we're still, I don't know. Are we in the pandemic? I don't know anymore. I don't know what truth is. But like the pandemic, like that actually acknowledges the existence of COVID.
Yeah.
But she's just so unlikable. It's like, you have to kill her.
Thank you.
You have to make her die. And so,
Nope.
yeah. And just like, no, everybody else dies around her for all the horrible things that she's doing. Like a newlywed couple dies. Like, so for no reason.
It was so weird. Now,
There's
I
a lot
did
of for no reason.
I mean, like, why? Of all places, like, if you're a MAGA anti-vaxxer and your response is to leave the States and go to Europe,
So weird. It was so weird. And the weird, here's the thing. One thing I was like, okay, when they first showed her like freestyling, I was like, oh, this might be, because it sounds like she's really doing it. It doesn't sound like this is like
she's an actual musician. She's and like the thing is like, why didn't you just put her in the situation? Like, why do you even need the COVID backstory? Like, just put this
why do you need a lot
woman?
There's a lot of things that this movie didn't need. It kind of seems like they just went to the Plot-O-Matic 4000 and hit a button and just said, let's put this in it, and then this and this in it. There's no reason for them to really be doing the MAGA flex in the first place. I mean, if they were going to do the MAGA flex, go somewhere with it. But it's really just putting a MAGA believing person into the role of, I guess, it's
her. She's not hard. She's hardly even acting. It seems like. She's like her main job is a musician and a touring musician and something like that.
Right. But what is she? Is she the protagonist? Is she the antagonist? I don't know what she is.
So annoying. Yeah. I was rooting for I'm like, at the end they have to get her, right?
Yeah.
And then she gets bit on the neck and like it gets ripped out and she suffers not at all from it. For the rest of the movie, she's like, oh, I'm good. I'm like, no, I remember a chunk being bit out your neck. No, I'm straight.
But Amir has the same thing or is the character's name Amir?
Stretch.
Stretch.
Everyone else, by the way, has their normal name. Even Angela, like the actor's name is Angela, and so was oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name, Annie. But
Amir was the dad in the other movie.
Amar, you're thinking of Amar Chadha-Patel, who plays Stretch.
Okay.
He was such a good. And here's the thing, dude. If I'm in a terrible situation and some sort of weird bloody thing is chasing me, I'm not going to sit up against a tree and freestyle with you. Yeah, I'm not going to be like, give me a word. And then we freestyle. At that point, I was like, okay, this movie's ridiculous. This movie's officially ridiculous.
Yeah, and as you said, like, I couldn't be scared of it because I couldn't understand what was going on. Like, I had to go online and read, like, oh, she's at a cult house. And, like, that's why those people all slash their necks or whatever.
Yeah. But I guess, spoilers, guys, but I'm not worried about it.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm not worried about it whatsoever. Don't trip. Spoil all
I mean, like, don't, I wouldn't go watch, like, you don't go watch it for the plot.
No.
Literally, like, I feel like Steve, as you were talking about, I realized, like, if they just taken out the anti-COVID vaccine, like, maybe sort of MAGA thing, and just made her a really stupid, like, just, like, or not stupid, just, like, kind of, like, just, like, in the clouds, like, not know what's going. I probably would have liked her. And like, and just like, oh, this is a comedy. This could be funny. Yes. Like her raps were really funny. She kept going back to the prolapse anus jokes.
Of course she does. She had the dirtiest freestyle.
My kind of humor, man.
But it's like, really, really different. What she was doing was like, dude, that's really, and she wasn't just going cat, hat. You know, she wasn't doing, she had like actual I was like, oh yeah, that word would rhyme.
And then
that's pretty impressive.
Did you watch the credits?
Yeah, and she's just like grabbing names off the credits.
I was like, are you going to do the whole thing? It got a little boring after a while. Like, I wouldn't have done the whole thing. But it's like, that's really impressive.
And then at the end, she was like, all right, I'm done with this, and pulled over. I said, dude, this is...
Like, and she was driving. Really she's actually driving.
Yeah, like, I could not just look at names and start there's no way I could have... I said, this girl, this could have been fun. What they were doing could have been fun. The guy the director fumbled the bag.
Or the it's again, like, it's Grimcutty, like the writing is just like, just make her just some asshole musician who you don't even need to go from America. Like the whole COVID thing is just, it doesn't need to be there. Take that out and it's actually kind of a fun film.
Or show her being mean to like her roadies. Then that's enough for me to be like, okay, let's see where this goes. Where she realizes I need help and, you know, whatever. But don't make her a MAGA. Then I'm not rooting for her at
No lesson is learned. No lesson is learned.
No. She'd be like, oh, everyone was killed on my behalf. Good deal. Bye. I'm like, and then there's one part where the Angela is going after her. Did you see how fast she wrapped her up in those seatbelts?
Yeah.
I said, how did you do it that fast?
How is Angela able to rip her mother's heads off?
Thank you.
But not get out of a seatbelt.
Not get out of a seatbelt.
Not to mention fly and just be a super whatever the hell, supernatural.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
Real quick, we can keep talking about it, but I'm curious about it. I just kind of want to get like some bearings here. Chris, what do you give this one?
I don't. It's such a conflict thing. It's just like I feel like some dickhead conservative person accidentally, ironically said something funny that I laughed at. And it's just like, I'm ashamed that I laughed at it because of where it's coming from. So I don't know. I'll give it like a 1 out of 5 shit stains on the back of a car seat.
Oh, that was nasty.
That was
why
so
do they have
gross,
to show?
dude.
Why why do they have to show poop?
I don't know, but what's great about that though is that as Gail gets, I don't want to say gets older, but I guess just as time goes on, that is becoming like a really bad like gag trigger for her, like know, fecal scenes and or just in general, if the dog has an accident, anything like that, she tends to just start getting gaggy. So as this part comes on, she just starts, and then I start laughing because whenever she starts gagging, I just start laughing. So it actually created a little bit more enjoyment for me.
Okay, I got something to tell you guys. This is from Twitter. I just looked up Dashcam. Somebody said Dashcam is straight garbage, right?
Trash cam.
You know, and Anna Hardy comes back and says, come on. Absolutely no one believes that. Even if you're an insufferable libtard with no sense of humor and personality disorder, Dashcam is still a good movie. I'm like, oh, this might be her.
But no, is it though? Or is she just playing off the character?
I don't know.
Dude. I haven't done enough research on her to know.
Nor have I.
I mean, but then that just like, I don't know, just like,
it says,
I gotta get out of my.
Go watch Nope. I'm like, come on, dude. I think it might be her.
Maybe.
But then, I mean, how is she? I don't know. Like now we're getting into some weird political territory.
It's okay.
Like,
it's fine.
Well, no. It's just like trying to get out of my. Because I've been like, I don't know if I feel selfish a lot because I have been so much involved with because we've been touring so much, and I'm just like, oh gosh, like November 8th is right there, and the polls look awful. But it's just like I don't know what else to do. Like I'm not like my soapbox thing to complain about right now is like Colleen and I both signed up for the student debt relief thing.
Oh, nice!
And we put in our emails and things like that. And since then, my inbox is literally just about Nevada and Arizona and Warnock, and like I want Warnock to win in Georgia. I do, but like I gave so much money in 2020 to stuff that it didn't make a dent on anything. And I know that just giving more money is not going to help. And it's just so frustrated me. But like, I don't know, just like, I don't know. I know I'm in a bubble and just like, as I said, like, I don't know if I'm in a bubble because like, yeah, okay. She says libtard and maybe that's her. It's just like, does that person get to have a platform anymore? Like, or like, it's like being anti-woke and like, I don't know what.
That is a personality now. Being anti-woke is like a personality. People are like, oh, my whole personality is just this.
Yeah.
This is what, and for me, I'm just like, because I was just looking up being like, okay, I looked up Dashcam because I said, maybe we're missing something. Because someone might be like, the director could on Twitter be saying, oh, no. There's another one coming. I thought maybe they're like, oh, no, this is part of like a Dashcam trilogy. And the first thing that comes up with her saying that, I'm like, but I was looking for maybe there's a Dashcam trilogy coming where it's just like, oh no, she'll get hers in the end. Guess what? It's not coming. They're like, no. This is exactly what I wanted to make this movie.
I mean, just like, as I don't know if that spiel that I just went on made any sort of sense.
It did.
Of what I'm trying to say.
In my opinion, we're doomed, dude. In my opinion, I think, you know how I was telling Dan this a while ago. I was like, you know, America was a cool test run.
Yeah.
Like technically, if it goes down now, 100 years or 300 years from now, they're gonna be like, oh yeah. America lasted not that long. It wasn't a very long thing. It lasted for a few hundred years, but yeah. We remember that thing.
I was just like,
maybe it's done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and maybe we're just like, maybe this is how like, what was the Greek tragedy and like,
like the Roman Empire fell and
or just like the Greeks were much better at like dealing with like Sophocles and those things. Like they wrote like the Bacchae about like the Greeks losing to the Spartans and or the Athenians like losing to them and just like, this is just the will of the gods and this is how it's supposed to be, and like being much better about that and like just accepting that and maybe right now we're just like, or maybe like I don't know, to be history. I used to teach history, so
oh, nice.
This is like nerd out. Like in another life, I was a teacher. Just like, why does France fold so easily in World War II after fighting World War One? It's just like because they were exhausted from World War One. It's like, are we just like on the left, just so like? I mean, maybe it's just me personally. Like, I'm just so. I feel like we gave so much in 2020, and just got so little.
I agree. I mean, but it also doesn't help when you see people not fighting like they should. You're like, do you guys care about voting rights? Because y'all don't seem like you really give a doggone. And we don't have in general, the left isn't moved by rage. That's just not the way we move. When you have rage behind you, you never get tired. Yeah. That rage never burns out, and that's what the right lives on. Yes. That rage is a solid burn. I mean,
that's what all this is about. It's just like literally just being about cruelty. It's just like the Russian card game Durak, which is literally means fool. I used to play it all the time in Peace Corps. It's a fun game, but it's like the whole thing is there's no winner. You just don't want to be the loser, and sometimes you will torpedo winning to make sure somebody else doesn't win. And like literally, that's how the right feels now. Just like we don't care that we're not going to have Social Security. We don't care that we're not going to have Medicare. We don't care that we're basically being turned into serfs, as long as we can stick it to liberals and to,
for sure.
to
liberal
anybody in the LGBT community. LGBT community. Anybody in a oppressed or disenfranchised community that has spoken up against white supremacy. They just want to stick it to them. They don't care about anything else. That's how the right feels.
That's exactly, and that's why I was just telling Dan, I was like, I think I just need to leave the country. But not everyone has the privilege to just be like, let's consider moving out of the country. It's like, if I could, I would just do that. That seems cool too. But I'm like, maybe I should just start plotting my life around, because the UK has a good R&B souls, they got a good scene out there. I'll just go out there.
I mean, Steve, you and I both should be getting over to Europe, because like literally like in Germany, like we Volker was stupid. We shouldn't have left. Like they, I had explained to me once, like all the royalties and stuff, all the laws here in the United States are really screwed up. Of getting all the money from like sync licensings and play, to like when it transitions over to Europe. So there's just tons of money from the music industry that just doesn't get used. So Europe did a cool thing, those darn socialists. It's like, hey, we're going to have all these programs where if you're an artist and you want to write or record an album or go on tour, or if you're an artist and you want to go live in a different country and just paint a bunch of cool shit, here's a grant that you can write and you can go do that. That's a thing. It's literally it's also sort of a thing in Canada. There are maybe grants here in the United States, but they're so hard to get and so much nonsense that you have to go through that is like not almost at that point not worth it.
There's so much paperwork that they almost bet on you halfway through being like, do I even want to do this really? Yeah. What's your W-2? Show me your tax from this. That you're like, you know what, dude, forget it. I don't even. Yeah, you should have stayed in Germany.
I probably. I mean, like I was ready to get home. I had been over in Europe for like almost 9 years.
And your Beyonce's here.
My Beyonce's here. I mean, I've told us like if you ever accidentally get pregnant, we're moving to Germany. Like you get and Germany's not even like at great compared to like the Nordic countries. Germany, you get 2 years as parents, both, not just the mother,
off work.
Father. Off or like not full pay, but most. Like it's something like 80% of your pay, and then you're allowed to go back to work. And there is, you have free education.
You got to get retrained.
Yes,
I'll be like, I forgot what I did.
What exactly do I do here?
Work. How do you get there?
Well, that might have been a big thing of like, because neither Elliot or I owned a car. Neither of our driver's license were reciprocal anymore because I had waited too long. I lived didn't have a car. It's like, I'm not going to get my driver's license renewed. What's the point of it? And like, it does take like almost over a year to get a driver's license in Germany. But the fact that I was almost destroyed on the way back here by a semi truck.
Oh,
we need a bit more. Like, it's one of those lanes where like the left lane disappears for no reason on a highway, a 4-lane highway.
This is in Germany?
No, this is in Nashville, Tennessee.
You almost got hit by a semi?
Oh yeah. He was deciding to pass me as his lane was ending. So I had to slam on the brakes and stop in the middle of a highway so I wasn't crushed by a semi.
Jeez,
Here in
dude.
Nashville, Tennessee, people will pass you in the turn lane. They will pass you in a turn lane. Like they just like there's no they don't use blinkers. But also here in Nashville, Tennessee, you don't have to take driver's ed. You just have to take this simple test.
And you get your license.
And you get your license. So I almost wish that we could force people to take driver's ed for a year. I won't ride a bike here in Nashville, Tennessee because nobody checks their right blind spot like when they stop.
Are you planning on staying there even, or are you planning on moving to another state or city or?
I don't know. I mean, Tennessee is just the darkest of holes politically. Like Colleen is giving me the gnarliest death stare because she is a Nashville native and she's very proud. I don't. I mean, like
songwriting. That's the songwriting capital.
It is. I mean, Nashville, Tennessee. If you are a DIY touring band, is highly useful because of geography. Like I wanted to go to Austin when we moved back from Berlin.
Yes.
I wanted to go to Austin, Texas. It's my favorite ex-girlfriend. That's what I call it. It's like, I love Austin, Texas. But if you are a weird, awkward-looking rock band, you have 3 places to play in Texas. You have Dallas, you have Houston, you have Austin, maybe like Denton and smallers. But there's... And then, like, you know, Texas, it's not the biggest thing. And I know we talk about how... we over-aggrandize how big Texas is, but it is really fucking big. And when you're having to spend gas tank after gas tank just to go to different places, you're not going to make any money. So you got to pay the Texas tax. You got to leave. And, you know, Arkansas is a cultural vacuum. There's no place to play in Arkansas.
That's true, dude.
Like you literally have to get yourself to the Midwest or to the Southeast. Like it's just, and Nashville is what Nashville is because you can do Indianapolis in 4 hours, then Detroit in 4 hours, and then Toronto in 4 hours. You can get to the Northeast very simply and hit market after market after market.
You can get to Toronto in 4 hours?
Not from not from Nashville, but I could line up a tour where each day I'm only driving 4 hours. I'm using a gas tank at it.
That's impressive, dude.
So it makes sense, just like I was talking about with why do you have a duo? Is because you don't have as much money. Like this stuff costs money. Like, and the only way you're making money is playing in like what I say about with musicians, touring musicians. You're essentially there's a great band Delta Bombers. We were on tour with them, Necromantics. They had the funniest lines. Like you're essentially just a moving company. You move heavy shit to one town and then you move it to another one. And that's all you're doing. We call ourselves a t-shirt company. Like that's the only way a modern band, if you're not going the YouTube route or something like that, is you're going to actually make money. You ever thought about going the YouTube route? No, I don't. I'm too old. I don't understand it.
Stop.
I still don't understand TikTok. Like TikTok makes no sense to me. It's like that's TikTok and Twitter is where Volt just throws its garbage. Like if it's not something like if it's just some dumb idea that I had that Ellie doesn't think's funny, I just throw it on TikTok. Like I don't know what else to do with it.
It seems like you guys will be magic on YouTube because of your live shows.
Yeah, but then then there's the whole thing of you gotta have somebody videotape it.
That's
and then you gotta have somebody who will, I mean, Elliot and I will take like just a hard drive and put it on the mixing board, but then you got to hope that the sound engineer actually captures it. You have to hope that there's actually that capability on some of the PAs that we play through.
Jeez, dude,
and just like, is it a good performance? It's just, then there's all types of money like that you got to spend. And I mean, that was like the biggest challenge during COVID of just like, yeah, we could get on and do a Facebook live stream, but we can't do a loud performance because it's going to sound awful. And like the production cost to make it sound good is just, you're just getting into money that you don't have. And the sad thing is, it's like, I think it was a podcast and I wanted to tell you, Steve, particularly about it. Just like, it's really weird that our obsession with, or just the downsizing of information, especially music. Like first we started out with the 3-minute pop song, and now it's like almost becoming expected that you need to be able to write a 15-second jingle for it to work on TikTok or
That's
nobody
true.
will want it.
That's very
But
true.
For music to have, like they were saying scientifically, for music to have a actual real effect on you, like to where you go into a trance-like state that you actually enjoy, you have to listen to something for 10 minutes.
Oh,
Like,
that
it's
doesn't
weird.
happen anymore. They don't.
No,
That doesn't
it's-
happen
no.
anymore.
I remember
Those
trying,
days are over.
I remember trying to watch Handel's Messiah when I lived in New York City, and my mom and I went and saw it. And it's just like, we were like, started getting on our phones and stuff like that. It's just
Dude,
like,
it
we don't
gets-
have the brain for opera anymore.
And the hard thing is, as you know, Dan could even attest to this, where now you don't listen to albums. Like artists don't make albums; they make a series of singles.
Oh yeah,
You don't make you don't have songs in the key of life where it's this big. Oh, I expected you to listen from 1 to 24 all the way through. No, they're like, well, these songs don't have to connect at all. I'll just make 18 different singles and call it a day.
Yeah, you have to do clever things. Like it's like with Volk, like our thing is like we work with Romanus Records to get really cool art pieces for vinyl, and then people actually want to buy that. It's like maybe you don't even own a vinyl player, but it's like a cool table decoration. And Elliot and I are definitely with the second album trying to figure out maybe a way to like, oh, you want to listen to the whole album through. Like that's like a concept album, and maybe there's a story that goes through it and you want to listen to it.
Volk Sgt. Pepper. It's
yeah,
like
exactly,
your Sgt. Pepper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even I had to have that realization too of like, because we were talking about like, oh, what's going to be the first single? And it's like, that needs to be the first song on the album, even though we were thinking like, oh, maybe this actual song actually works better in the terms of the story. And then we're just like, wait a minute, it doesn't matter because it's not the 70s or the 60s where you need the hit at the beginning.
Sure don't.
Because nobody's going to listen to that in that order anyways.
That's true. That's very true. We listen to I'm guilty of it. I remember telling Dan, hey, send me your Foo Fighters mix.
Yeah.
He didn't send me albums. He just like, well, let me send you the best songs off these different, and he made a conglomerate of and I'm sure Foo Fighters is like, well, I actually made that album to be listened to from beginning to be like, that's not how I listen.
You're a special breed, though. You got to remember, you give songs 20-second filters sometimes. And you're like, I'm done. So I had to come correct with the hits.
Yes, and same with Duran Duran. You're like, okay, I need to make sure that I give him the exact Duran Duran compilation where it's like, all right, 20 seconds each song, I'm digging, and I'm in, and I'm in, I'm in.
Well, it's just, maybe this is silver lining is that like, even though it takes forever and Elliot and I are the only ones doing it, we don't have a label telling you got to this is a 5-album deal.
That's true.
That you're doing in 5 years. So like when you're doing that, you have to just throw what you have, or maybe you have those resources like, oh, it's really cool. I love Brandi Carlile, but she's like, oh yeah, I went in the studio. I didn't have all the songs prepared, or I was just going to have 10 songs at the end. It's like, I don't have that ability to do that. Like Elliot and I have to go in with the songs that we want, and we have to have had rehearsed them for months, and played them live to make sure like, okay, right. Yeah. Because we don't, even Electric Six, we were able to raise enough money. We were able to go into, it's a Modern Electric in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Paul Cawthon, Joshua Ray Walker, Leon Bridges records there.
I love his sound.
Yeah. I think it's just amazing that like his main hit song is just like literally just saying the Texas sun over and over again, but it's just like his sound's so hypnotic. Like that is a song, like it's like talking about the 10-minute things. Like that's a song I could probably just listen to 10 minutes and just drive around and feel very comfortable.
And if you recorded at that studio, that means you are trying to get in and out.
Yes. Like we had 5 days, and our guy John Pedigo, who's with a great band called 40 Acre Mule, and he's done all of Joshua Ray Walker's stuff, who's a guy's coming up in the like the country music scene, but not shitty country music scene, like the Americana, I guess is what we'll call that.
Yeah.
Because like the whole Americana country thing is just a very hard, very difficult thing to explain. Of like, you have, well, I won't go into that thing, but Joshua Ray Walker is an amazing songwriter, amazing singer, performer, and John has worked with them, and we feel very privileged to work. We're really like this. Steve and I could probably get into this. Like, it's the shitty part of like we have it all recorded, and it's like it was a really awesome experience because like it's fun for me to listen to the unmixed tracks. It's like,
yes,
this is almost done. This is awesome, but like I can't let anyone else listen to it. Like, it's a painful stage. Like, Dan asked, like, oh, you got anything new? It's like, I have 10 new awesome songs that I really want people to listen to. And like, I know it sounds vain. I hate to sound vain about it, but it's like, oh, this is fun stuff. And I like enjoy listening to my own music. This is cool. I don't hate it. I'm sure in a month I'll hate it.
You're going to have to, because you're going to hear so many mixes.
Yes.
You're going to be like, fine. Because, and the sad thing is, in our brain, we know what the song's supposed to sound like. That's why we love it. Because we're like,
yes.
And my friend had to tell me, no, you're actually hearing the mixed version in your brain. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
You know what the sound, but he's like, I'm trying to make it sound like what you have in your head to everyone else. I'm like, I'm with you now.
I'm such a Libra too. And that I need others' affirmation to know something's good. But Elliot's on the I feel like it's a good balance. Like, Elliot's on she's an Aquarius, and she has her vision, and I think it's a good balance. But like, I am just tortured of just like, I need somebody to tell me that this is actually good. I need somebody to listen to it, but it's like, it's not ready yet. It's like as we were just talking about with the live performance stuff and on YouTube, it's just like, when you hear something on YouTube and it's a live performance, you are not hearing an authentic version of that. That's like especially with YouTube. I remember somebody was so mad when I was talking. I was like, "Oh, can't we just put the album on YouTube too?" It's like, you're gonna downgrade the sound quality of something that you spent so much money on and put it in this compressed, shitty file of YouTube.
Unless you guys do the small desk and record it directly into Pro Tools or Logic, and then afterwards fix everything that you don't like and make sure that it syncs with your mouth. Yeah. That's the only way you get like an amazing sound.
Yes.
I can see, but the thing is, like Dan said, dude, the star is you and Elliot's live performance. That's where you guys shine. The albums are great, but people need to see you on stage. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's where your magic happens, dude.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank you.
No, seriously, Dan's always like, when are they going on tour? When are they going on tour? When are they going on tour?
Well, as I said, I'll tour my whole life. I love it so much. And it's a huge honor that we got to do these 3 tours on the West Coast. We never played the West Coast before we saw you guys. That was our first time there.
How do you like the West Coast?
Oh, I love it. Golly, California is just so big. You don't realize until you drive, and then it's like, and that tour, like, we had the old Kia Sedona, and it was just like getting destroyed by
that's right. You got a new van now, huh?
It's hilarious. It's the exact same make and model. It's just green.
Hey, I remember you talking about, be like, I think it's on its last leg. You were saying, this van is about to go out.
The Silver Bullet is in retirement. I drive her around for Uber Eats and things like that.
That's a good deal. I know Dan, do we have one more movie?
Yeah, so I give Dashcam 2.25.
Oh, shit. I completely forgot about Dashcam.
I'm calling this episode The Day the Musicians Took Over. That's what I'm calling this one. It's
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm just fucking with you. No one wants to hear about these bad movies anyway. No, I'm enjoying it.
Hey, calm down.
I'm just trying to keep y'all, like, how much time do you have left, Steve? That's my main concern.
I can get out about 1:10.
Okay, cool. Then we're fine. Continue, please.
No. I want to really talk about this next movie.
No, I hated it. I'm like, how am I going to get back into this one here?
Did Steve and I rate Dashcam?
I think you did, but Steve, you know what? For the hell of it, for the kids at home that are giving a shit.
Before reading this, I'm going to give Dashcam a 1. Don't be a hater. I'll give it a 2. No, I'll give it a 2 out of 5. Saw Jaws.
I don't even want to, I definitely feel like I'm like the one that's taking the conversation backwards, so I apologize. But since
it's okay.
I bothered to watch this movie, I'm going to say this. I feel a little bit differently than you guys do in the sense that I kind of enjoyed it, actually. Like, I don't get me wrong. She's a very hateful, unlikable person. That's for sure. That's what she is. But somehow, I think it was at first that I thought that she was kidding. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure if it was jest or not. I don't know. I found out quite quickly that that's not the case. But for whatever reason it was, like we were talking about, the way that she freestyles or anything like that, putting aside all of the whole, like, this is bullshit, this would never happen thing. For instance, taking a microphone while you're with Angela and like she's interviewing her right after Angela goes on the attack or something like that. That's all dumb shit. But for what this movie was, I had no idea where it was going to go. And aside from the crazy wobbly cameras like Steve was talking about, I think I enjoyed it a little bit more. Like I said, I actually wanted this movie to go on for a little bit longer. I just wish that it would have been a little more cohesive. And I'm willing to put aside that she's a terrible human, whatever you want to call her, maggot. But I enjoyed it, and then I'm done because we were way past this conversation.
Yeah. I should. I feel like I should amend my thing. I was just like exactly what you said. Like I feel like I could give this something like a 3 if I didn't hate her so much.
For real.
Like it's just to give it something higher than that just makes my moral code or something hurt. That's so, like it's a weird thing.
Here's the question I wanted to ask is the creator of this movie, is he flexing? Do you know what I'm saying? Or is it just like did he just like want, a flex? Or did he just want to create a character? Because I don't see the reason of making this character. Like, there's no reason for the MAGA flex, is what I'm saying. Whether it's there or not, I don't really care about as long as it's in context. But in this case, it just seemed like, why did you put that in there? To me, it seems like a flex. And if this movie would have been coming out, like, say, this month, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, right around, like, election season, I would be, okay, I kind of see why they're doing the flex. But in this case, I'm just wondering if it's just, do you think that that's just, they just kind of wanted to shoehorn their beliefs into this? And when I say they, I'm talking about Gemma Hurley and Rob Savage.
It's so confusing.
I don't know. That's the thing. And it really, honestly, it doesn't even really matter to me. It's just, I just can't figure out why they went that way.
It's like, the only thing I can compare it to is like, why does Chappelle have to go and attack trans people so much? It's like all your stuff is so funny. And you're a great comedian. You're one of the greatest comedians of our times. But why do you have to go in this
area? Go full yay on people?
Go full yay. Like
Oy.
I don't know. And just, I could see it as a flex of just like, oh, I did this great show with hosts. I don't know. It's just such a weird, I don't know. Colleen gave me a cup of coffee just a bit now, and I'm having my caffeine jolt, and I don't really know how to wrap my head around it.
No, I don't know if this movie you can really wrap your head around it. I was just saying, and I was kind of jokingly going back to it, but just in case anyone was wondering, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I would definitely recommend it over the last one that we talked about, which is already Grimcutty.
Yeah, put a gun to my head. If I had to choose between the 3 movies that if I had to rewatch right now, I would probably choose that one.
Okay, this will be interesting.
You're right.
This will be interesting. All right. Well, let's move into that.
What is your rating, though, Dan?
Oh, I gave it a 2.25.
Oh, that's not that much more than me.
It's a little bit more. I enjoyed it a little bit more than you guys did.
Tiny.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like I feel bad that I actually did enjoy it. Is that weird to say?
No, I enjoyed it till Dan knows the end can make a whole movie like not work for me, and the ending is just like the end. I was like, what? When it said Dashcam, I was like, oh, hell no.
You know, we haven't talked about this movie, Steve, but like, to me, it feels like it's almost just as chaotic, even though it all takes place in one place. Chris, I don't think you've seen this movie, but Deadstream, which we won't talk about right now. But it's in the same thing as, it's another YouTuber, whatever you want to call that, and influencer type of a based movie, but it's a little more cohesive, but it's not that much more cohesive. You know what I mean?
It's just, the thing is, I also think that maybe all it is the people behind Deadstream just have a better eye for horror. They understand it a little bit more. They know when to make it shaky and when to make it, no, you need to see what's hanging from the rafters on this.
Yeah.
I get the idea of mystery, and I think that's what they were totally going for. Maybe, like Chris was saying with the band, it's just the money situation. It's a little cheaper to go that route. But hey, let's make it shaky, and we don't have to spend so much on practical effects or whatever. I could see them doing something like that for the sake of
totally believe Deadstream
for the sake of moving the story forward and getting the end of it, But I don't know. I'm willing to give this one a little bit more forgiveness, even though it has kind of a fucked up message or a fucked up character, I guess you could say. But now I'm curious because Chris, you said something. So, and I hate to be the business guy here, but we did watch these things. So
yeah,
Black Adam started on last Thursday. It came out and hit the theaters, and it so far has made $140 million in its first box office weekend. That's just domestically. Steve, what did you think of Black Adam?
Chris or me?
Steve.
Okay. Number one, I'm a Marvel person. So I was like, well, here comes DC doing their DC thing. Dude, here's what I've come to it's not fair anymore. It's not fair because I can watch The Rock do anything. Yeah. That's what I was realizing while I was watching this movie. I was like, he's not acting well. He's not making any facial expressions. He's not doing much of anything. There's nothing that he's just knocking out of the park. I can just watch this human being on screen. He's like a Tom Cruise, except Tom Cruise actually does stuff. This guy I can just watch float, levitate, walk around, beat people up, and be big for a whole entire movie. It's just easy to watch. I would say that out of all the action movies I've seen The Rock in, this is the least he's ever done as far as action. Yeah. Most of the time he's running through pillars.
Well, there's tons of action on the screen, people. But what exactly is he doing? Because it's all CGI, right? Exactly. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And he's not even doing anything. And I'm like, well, it's an action movie technically, but The Rock probably has not broken a sweat, except I promise you he worked harder in his gym during this movie than he actually worked on set, where it's like the hard stuff happened. No, it's mostly CGI. But again, regardless of it all, I can watch this human being on screen for hours at a time. So and here's the thing, man. If I paid money and the movie was terrible, I mean, the movie was astronomically bad, that stinger by itself was worth the movie. I walked out of that theater and immediately got on YouTube, and I've never done this for DC, Dan. I looked for audience reactions. This is the first looking up audience reactions for a DC movie that I've ever done. It's normally always, Marvel and, Endgame and stuff. This is the first time I want to be like, ooh, what did people... Because somehow, apparently, I was one of the last not spoiled people.
Well, see, that doesn't surprise me, but that's what I was going to ask you. Was this another one of those times where somehow you managed to escape the spoiler? Because I knew about this shit like when I was 7. You know what I mean? What was going to happen?
When I saw what I thought I'm not going to ruin it, but when I saw what I thought was
I think everyone knows, Steve, but it's okay.
Really?
It's
my mom doesn't, and she's going to see it, and she's like, I could probably wait 2 weeks, right? I said, Mom, you're on Twitter. Do not wait 2 weeks.
Put it this way. The star of the Stinger that you're talking about, I'll try and keep it fun for just a second for you. He's already announcing. Yeah, I announced it today. Everyone knows now. I wanted to wait for the weekend, but I think we should just say it, Steve.
Okay, Henry Cavill is back as Superman.
Exactly. One person went, what? Right now.
Here's the thing.
I mean, The Rock told us all
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ago. This was not a surprise.
The thing is, here's the funny part. The only reason it's so weird that my hateration caused me to not be ruined. Because I was just like, whatever. Everything that was coming up on Twitter about Black Adam, I was like, anyway, whatever. And so that helped me. That aided in my plight, oddly enough, because when I saw that thing floating down from the sky, I literally looked at Belle and was like, babe, there's no way. There's just no way. And when he came out and said, this is the first time in a long time someone's been this nervous, I legit yelled like in this well, there was not, oddly enough, no one was really there in the theater. And I was like, oh my God, it was perfect. And I said, if this movie sucked, this would still be worth it. But again, I can just watch The Rock do The Rock. And it just so happened that everyone else in the movie was also good. I loved this movie. That's it. I loved it.
I'll go next on this one.
Okay.
You know me in DC. There's rarely a chance I'm going to be impressed by a DC movie. And I'm not saying I was impressed this time, but to echo on what you were just saying right now, I think what got me more about this movie wasn't necessarily The Rock, it was the supporting cast. Not the entirety of the supporting cast. I mean, I could have done without because there's something about DC and kids. They just never get it quite right. I'm thinking of one particular scene towards the end of the movie where the kid stands up and he does the Diamond Dallas Page sign above his head and he tries to get. You know what I'm talking about, right? And he tries
a lot of that was that ADR. It didn't line up with what he was. The ADR was wrong.
He goes. Hey guys, don't we should really stand up right now against these guys, right? And then suddenly one guy goes, "What are we waiting for?" And then everyone jumps in. You know? And I just thought that there's just scenes like that I could really do without, only because it's just, it feels obligatory. Like, oh, we have to get here. We're going to have to put this kid in. We have to do something with this character. I was hoping that the kid was going to end up getting cooler as time went on, but no, that wasn't the case at all. But who I really, really enjoyed in this movie was Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. I liked the whole appearance of him. I love the way that the update that, and I'm not a big, I always say this when I talk about like comic movies, is that I come from, I read comics as a kid, but I was never like, into the serial part of it. Like it wasn't episodic for me. I would just kind of dive in and dive out every now and then. I didn't follow the full storyline. So a lot of these movies, including the Marvel movies, to me are sometimes the first time I've seen these characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dr. Fate, of course, I'd seen before, but I didn't know his whole storyline. So coming from a film-only standpoint, I thought they did a really good job. And just like looking at like the way that they brought his character to life from the comic page, I loved all the updates they did. Pierce Brosnan's a great actor anyway. I mean, he's done some clunker movies, but it's not necessarily his fault when the movie's a clunker, you know? But the thing that gets me is I want to see more of him. That's what I want to see. I thought that, obviously we can't go forward. Maybe we can. It's a comic book movie with his character, but I would love to go back. I want to see an origin story, something, but I thought he was fantastic in this. And I think out of all the characters, I thought he actually did the best. And I was also down with Hawkman too. Kind of angsty, a little bit too angsty at times, but I still thought that he, with like the overuse, because I think we can all agree DC has, and Marvel does it too, but I feel like DC makes it a little more obvious. There's a gross amount of CGI in these movies.
Yeah.
And of course there has to be, because these things don't exist. People don't just sprout wings and fly and all that kind of shit. I get it. But for some reason, DC, it always tends to be a little more like in the forefront, and it's like very noticeable versus with Marvel, where it's like, oh yeah, I did catch those couple of scenes that looked a little shoddy. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. I mean, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson really doesn't do much in this movie. He's a likable guy, and that's exactly what got me into the theater on day one. I like The Rock. I enjoy watching him in things, but I've never ever considered Rock to be an actor where we're going to see, and prove me wrong, but I think at some point I don't think we're ever going to see him, being getting an Oscar. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. He is what he is, and he's a very powerful man in Hollywood, but he is what he is, and I think that his acting is somewhat limited, but getting better. But as far as just the movie on a whole, I thought it was like super entertaining, and it's, as far as DC movies go, I think it's up there. Like I don't want to like sit and number them out and rank which movies I like better, but I mean, I'm going to put it leagues above the first Suicide Squad. This might be blasphemy to some, but I actually enjoyed it more than the last Suicide Squad. Even with James Gunn's backing on that movie, I just felt like that one for me was kind of like a slog, whereas this one, at least it was fast paced. It was a constant boom, boom, explosions, flying, people dying all over the place, and maybe that just kept my ADD brain a little more attentive to the whole thing, but I actually enjoyed it about this movie. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It's just some of the acting was not so great. What do you think, Steve? Or excuse me, Chris?
Oh, yeah, I feel like because I watched it last night and I have so many thoughts about it, and I didn't write any of them down. Sorry.
No worries.
I will. Well, I just want to say before I forget, Henry Cavill, like seeing him in that app, that it seemed like a more comic book accurate costume, or like it wasn't that Zack Snydery too overfleshed thing. I thought he looked awesome, and it's like I did like that's a complete great part of, I completely agree with Steve on that. I think the movie is definitely held up by like all the acting. Like I love Muhammad Amir. Like he's like he almost edges out Pierce Brosnan of like just great. I think there was a great supporting cast, and I think that was important for like kind of putting around The Rock, because it seemed like he had a hard time deciding like, am I going to go full bad guy or do I need you to like me? Like, do I want to be Arnold in T2, or am I trying to be this like actual anti-hero thing? I think, yeah, all the acting was good. The lot of the lines were really bad.
Right.
Like the lines were really bad. Like, I guess going back to my thing of like, I think Dashcam, if it didn't have that whole weirdness, would just edge it out. I still enjoyed the movie. I feel like I only like started to look at my phone like a little towards the end. It could have been edited a bit to be shorter. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, it's definitely, I probably like, as you said, like probably right there with Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one. Better than Justice League, which probably isn't that hard to do. Probably a little bit better than Batman v Superman. For me, I think it's weird. It's like, I feel like I watched Venom on an edible. So I don't. So I actually really enjoyed it. But
I
then
like
I watched
Venom. I don't care.
Yeah, so did I. I enjoy. I was like, this is a fun ass movie. It's stupid as hell. So I kind of put it in that characterization. Maybe not as bad. Like, I feel like there could have been a pretty decent story in there. Just kind of sometimes it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. But 140 million is pretty good, right? For a box office weekend? Is that what you said?
140 million, yeah. I guess there's been a lot better, obviously, but it's not. I don't think it's like a gutting thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I don't know if it's astronomical numbers, and like as Steve said, and like not a lot of people were sticking around for the ending scene too. Just like they might not have the advantage that Marvel has, or like actually the curse that Marvel has of like, you know, everybody's just like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Like nothing really got set up in She-Hulk. It sucks. Like, it's like, I kind of appreciated that it was just that.
A fellow She-Hulk fan. That's right. You like She-Hulk.
She-Hulk's great. Love it. But I feel like there's, like, as with Venom, I think there might be enough there to set some things up. No, I feel like it's a middle of the road for me. Like, it was an entertaining film. I had fun. I'm glad I went and saw it. My ticket was really expensive.
Really?
And I like this. I know you guys are out in California, so this guy's gonna scoff at me, but it was $18.
That's a grip of money, dude. That's a grip of money.
I forget what movies cost because I use that Regal Unlimited, so it's just I wish I had done that. I need to get that because like Colleen and I will go see at least 2 movies a month. Yeah,
and like,
it only makes sense for me.
Yeah. I should get on that.
That's a lot of money, dude.
Right? I was like, oh my gosh. I was sad. Colleen abandoned me for a last minute Lizzo ticket. And
you went to go see Lizzo?
No, Colleen did. She was going to go see Black Adam with me, but she chose Lizzo over Black Adam. She made the right choice. Obviously, but I had to go.
Another person doing stadium tours I did not know.
Yeah. She was at Bridgestone here, which is the arena. Still, I mean, epic size.
She's not hurting.
She's not hurting. I don't know. Black Adam was just. I feel like I definitely feeling the comic book fatigue. I don't feel like I still haven't felt that amazement and awesomeness. And I don't know, maybe if we ever will since Endgame.
No, that's 15
that's
years.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And like, you know, No Way Home it was fun to watch, but like somebody pointed like, but it's just playing on your nostalgia. Like if you take out Green Goblin and Doc Ock and all that stuff, it's not a very compelling story.
That's true.
You know, I would put it, you know, it's better than Thor and Love and Thunder. I'll give it that.
I mean, yeah, for
you know,
sure,
I'm finding that I really have to like try to remove myself from that now because I'm the same way. It's like, am I really liking these movies?
Yeah.
For what they, you know, because they're good movies, or is it just because I'm supposed to continue on? It's all for the sake of continuity. And Yeah, because I feel like I might be getting a little bit of burnout myself. I don't know if I think you hit the nail right on the head. I don't think we're ever going to get that end game. Oh my God, how do you recreate that?
Is it sacrilege? I mean? Is it sacrilege to say that maybe I'm just not that excited about Secret Wars or the Kang, the Kang dynasty?
No, not in this part of town. But I mean, it's the same thing. No, but I'm going to go see them all. But I'm kind of with you. Yeah, it's not even so for me. It's not even so much as the continuity thing. I still enjoy the movies, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm finding more often than not that when I'm walking out of these comic book movies, it's like, okay, well, it's just another case of been there and done that. You know,
well, it's everything. I was just like, oh my gosh, if it had been anybody other than Ewan McGregor and Obi-Wan, I would not have finished that. Obi-Wan was awful. But Boba Fett, I'm coming to terms with was really bad. What was I going to say? Game of Thrones right now. I'm just like, why am I continually watching this? Like, it's not the first season of Game of Thrones. No. It's like, it's better than the last season. I think it was season 8.
Is it though, Steve?
What?
Did you, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris, but I am curious about something since you're talking about that. Steve, did you watch the finale of House of the Dragon?
Dude, listen. I mean, no, we're not going to remind me to say something after Black Adam.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just don't want to forget that.
Yeah. Are you guys going to do a podcast on it? I didn't mean to bring that up.
No. We'll just tail end it.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you real quick.
That'll be the capper.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. With Black Adam, it's serviceable. I can see it like in today's market. You know, DC just needs anything. You know, at this point, like anything, like it sucks that the whole Ezra Miller thing with and Flash thing is happening. I feel so awful for Michael Keaton.
What a bummer.
It just needs something, and like, I don't know, like, and I just kind of feel like I just ate a McDonald's cheeseburger and it was serviceable because I was hungry.
Yeah,
that's being kind. It's being very kind these days. All right. We'll get off of this ship here, Chris. What do you give Black Adam?
I'll give it a. Can I do? You did a decimal.
You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, right? I'll give it a 2.75 out of. Everybody needs to go watch Mo on Netflix because that's an amazing show.
What about you, Danathan?
You know what? I'm going to go high on this one. I'm going to go about 3.25 for Black Adam. 3.25 out of 5 forced catchphrases.
I'm going the highest. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 easy paychecks for Viola Davis. And I'm all for it.
Dude!
I was wondering, how much does she get just for like, that literally maybe took an hour for her to do.
Dude, give her all the money. I could watch her too. Oh, she's getting a show.
Like that character?
Yeah, that character's
getting a show. Shit.
I'm watching it, man.
Amanda Waller?
Yeah,
Amanda Waller. She's not going. I think you're right, dude. I think she has like the easiest gig in the whole game, except for, you know, who's also going to do that now. Did you notice Harcourt was in this?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That was like, oh, okay, so they're not done with her yet. I'm sure James Gunn had something to do with that.
But does anybody have
go on a limb?
Do we have any idea of what part of the timeline this takes?
No, like, that's what confused me. I didn't know if this was pre or post Peacemaker.
Because Peacemaker was great. I did want to. I almost forgot. I guess I'm cutting off you guys' ratings.
No, you're fine.
I appreciated that they just threw the GSA in there. Like, Justice League was so straddled with like, why are we bothering with a backstory for Cyborg or the Flash?
Yeah,
like, just get into it. Like, and I feel like that this just proves it's like, oh, cool. I care about Dr. Fate. I have no idea about his origin story. Hawkman's cool. I have no idea how his powers work. I don't know. I thought he was an alien, or at least from the comics. I don't know his lore very well. It's like the what was her? I want to call her Spinderella.
Cyclone.
Cyclone. Yeah, I love Cyclone.
I thought she was great.
I love her little colorful thing. I'm like, I could watch her do her
Contessa
thing.
Swindell. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, she did.
Smasher looked great. His CG was great. Like, I feel like the CG only failed for me with the final boss, and then the Zack Snyder slow mo stuff got annoying. But I did think it was cool when it would just make it like this, like like unmoving image sort of thing, like when Black Adam's ripping him in half.
Oh, dude,
that looked dope.
That looked super. And my thing was, I thought in the beginning when he said, "Tell the man in black," or what did he say? Give my guards to the man. Tell him the
man in black sent you.
I thought it was going to get corny. And then by the end, when he said it, I thought it was the best thing ever. I was like, yes, tell him the man in black. I thought it was so freaking cool.
Chris, I'm so glad you brought it up, and I don't know why, because I meant to talk about that. That's the other thing about the goddamn DC movies that gets me every single time is that they, for the most part, they're doing their best to make this entertaining movie. And then you get to the final boss, and it's always shit CGI. Like, why do you do that? Like, more importantly, I don't even know if that was the final boss. I think this is just sometimes they feel the need just to throw this other antagonist character in there. I mean, like, I don't even know what you would want to call that guy, but like, I don't know. That's the one thing about DC movies that always gets me is that when they come with these villains, particularly in the third act, they're usually just really shitty looking. And there's kind of like, well, why are you shoehorning this character in there in the first place?
I mean, I feel like they need to figure out, and they probably have figured out, like, your movie is going to be as good as the villain.
That's
it. Avengers worked because Loki is a great villain. And like Thanos, awesome. Like probably, like in our modern cultural thing, like Thanos is probably top 10 villains.
For sure.
Oh no,
like maybe higher. Darth Vader can peg more and more down the more we learn about him.
And I know you're right, because Black Panther wouldn't have been Black Panther without Killmonger.
Killmonger is awesome.
If you didn't get Killmonger, then who are you fighting against? This one, Black Adam didn't have a great. That's why they're like, well, just make his enemy everybody. How about do that? Let's just make it everybody.
Yeah. That's always the problem, and that's always the problem with DC, right? It's because they're godlike characters, and the reason why I believe Batman really works is because, like, there's nobody powerful enough. There's nobody powerful enough to go up against him.
That's true, because in Marvel, Captain America's strong, but let me tell you something.
Yeah,
he can get caught. He can like if someone gets us, he can catch a stray bullet, a good one. Whereas Black Adam, they didn't even make him, when they said and then I got to give him props on this. When they said he's indestructible, really. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they showed it. You know how normally they'll be like, if someone's indestructible, even like the Hulk, people will shoot bullets and you still hear the thump, 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 and you see it going into the skin. That did not happen with Black Adam.
No.
They were like shooting at a metal like thing. And I'm like, oh, he is legitimately indestructible. Okay, note to self.
Yeah, like, why do you keep on shooting? Why aren't you running away? Like, nothing's like, why do you keep shooting? And I thought they were going to do something with the Ethereum. Like, I feel like
that's what I thought.
Like, it's obviously it damages them, so do something with that.
Nope. They decided otherwise. And then the funny thing is, they apparently had missiles with that Eternium or whatever in it. They didn't use it. I thought they were going to use it when it hurt them. But they're like, nah. And then one dude threw down his gun and pulled out a knife. Now, on one hand, I will say that is the friend you need. Because if that dude is willing to go head up with Black Adam, some dude in a bar that looks at you sideways, that's a guy you want on your back.
And these are paid mercenaries.
I was like, dude, you're going to get killed, bro. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Another pet peeve I have with this movie, and it's a lot of movies, not necessarily even DC, is when you have you're in a foreign country and everyone is speaking English.
Oh my God! I'm okay. Black Adam know how to speak English.
For sure, the dude's he's been asleep for 5,000 years, and he understands what video games are, and all these like pop culture references, and he's got like the sarcasm. Now, I get it; it's a movie, but it's just like I'm not dumb. I'm not lazy. I'll read the subtitles. Like, make it legit. You know what I mean? This dude is 5,000 years old. There's no way he's talking the way he's talking.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. That is a great. I saw a video saying he woke up in another country or another,
might as well have been.
Yeah, speaking English with no accent.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't think about
there was there was hardly any fish out of water moments with him. No. He just
I think that's a case of the director being like, you want to tell The Rock he has to have an accent? They're like, hell no, just let him talk. I think that's
you might have something there.
You don't tell The Rock to do an accent.
Yeah.
The fact that this movie is being made is only because The Rock did it. That's it.
I want to know the story because he's been attached to this project apparently since 2007. What is his obsession with this character? I want to know the stories. Like, did he read? Because has Black Adam? I don't know DC at all, and I've kind of been out of the comic book world for a long time. Like, does he even have a comic book series?
I believe there's some. Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm the same way with you, but I believe he does have a series.
Okay. Just like, why, what is this particular character? Because like whenever he's portrayed in like any of like the animated movie things, he's just like a very cut and dry villain, you know? I don't know. It's fascinating to me of why he cares about this character in particular.
Well, the funny thing is the first time I heard that, oh, this is The Rock's pet project, and people were like, it's never going to happen. I said, you are saying that the most bankable star on the face of the planet, when they have a pet project, it's not a wish.
Yeah.
It's a matter of when it's going to happen. I don't think, I mean, y'all tell me am I wrong. Is there a thing that if The Rock wanted it done, could he not get the movie made right now?
I think The Rock gets whatever The Rock wants.
I think that's literally the only reason we're getting another Superman.
According to him, he said, hey, Cavill's Superman. Yeah. And the people just buckled. Like, Cavill's been wanting to do Superman. The Rock walks into the office and says, hey, he's our Superman. And they just said, okay. I'm like, oh, is that all that had to happen?
This might be a good thing, man. I mean, you know, this is all opinions, of course, but if The Rock is able to get his movie made and he ends up, in, again, opinions, making one of the more entertaining DC movies that have been out in quite a while, who's to say that his influence isn't going to carry over into Man of Steel 2?
Oh, and
or he's making Cavill less, you know, I loved Man of Steel, but he's going to make him less wooden, I think is what's going to happen.
And did you hear what Cavill said? Well, one of an article, he said, Cavill is Superman for good.
Yeah.
As in, The Rock didn't just say for this movie. He's saying, hey, for the unforeseeable future, this is who I want in. It's turning out to look like The Rock's universe.
Yeah, if we can't have Chris Reeve, then we got to have Cavill.
Yeah, it seems like now DC, even though James Gunn, obviously, I'm going to go on a limb and say maybe The Rock has the most power in the DC universe right now to make things happen.
He's definitely the flavor of the month.
Yeah.
Bruh, he is.
I just hope it doesn't have to be. I hope he could maybe have the vision of like it can't be what happened with like Mystique and what's her name? The actress
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence, and it's just like you had to make up all this stuff around Mystique that just didn't really exist.
I mean, they're gonna want I'm gonna be real because I'm a sucker. If I was the head of Warner Brothers, every person that comes to me when James Gunn is like, so this is the end of Guardians, this is the end of the next Suicide Squad. I'm like, where's the Rock in this piece? They're like, well, we can't really shoehorn. Yeah. Guess what? You're putting him in everything that we make. We're putting him in it.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen.
So then it's just doomed too because people are just. I mean, it's going to become Transformers. I mean, because like, freaking. I don't want a Cavill or Superman versus Black Adam movie to be the next one. Like Henry Cavill, like that's where I think like Superman, even though he's basically God, like the whole fun thing, especially in those Reeves movies, that Lex Luthor is his intellectual superior and uses his brains to make things an equal match with Superman. And so that actually works. And like, if they just shoehorn like they did with Batman versus Superman and don't let, as you said, like, Dan, like Man of Steel, if you take away Zack Snyder's weird directing thing of making him just so dark, I would never blame Cavill for any of the flaws in Man of Steel or Justice League or,
no,
Batman
totally not his
Superman.
fault.
He could be a solid Superman. Like he's proved that with The Witcher. He's good at what he does. You just gotta let him shine through. So
he's funny too.
Yeah,
the man from U.N.C.L.E., he was fantastic.
Yeah,
the man I was like, that's Superman. That's who we need to see. And I think, unfortunately, like you said, I don't know. I probably Dan knows more of the box office than I do. But when we say we don't want this to be another Transformers, the bad news is
Transformers makes money.
Do they not print money, Dan? Print money. And
they get rides at Universal Studios.
Dude, that's what I was saying. So I think DC would be like, we wouldn't mind to have another Transformers situation on our hands.
Well, hey, tell me this movie wasn't close to a Michael Bay some of the time.
Oh, dude, it's for sure Michael Bay.
If you had told me Michael Bay directed the movie, I would have believed you.
For sure. Yeah, like, there was definitely a lot of Bayness going on.
And if you put Michael Bay and Snyder in one person,
this is
the movie that you got.
Nail on head.
Yep, and that freaking devil at the end is all Snyder. All Snyder, dude. That's Snyder.com. And a lot of the stuff where he was levitating, I'm like, dude, who's in charge of this CGI? Like the where he's floating around his own statue, I'm like, that doesn't even look like The Rock. His face that they're using, are they using a stand-in?
Or some of those quick beating, you know, he'll do those beat downs where he's like hitting people from all over the room.
Yeah.
That looked a little shoddy too.
It looked shoddy, but ultimately, that's why I said I'm the wrong person to ask. Because I can watch The Rock just be The Rock.
Well, what's your rating, Steve?
Oh, dude. Come on, man. What are we talking
Did you already do it? Did we already say the rating?
No. I said, you know I'm going high. Higher than both of you guys.
I'm going for Steve. I think I know what he's going to go with. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. What is it?
I'm guessing you're going to be at a 4.25.
Oh, dude, you're right there. I'm 4. Yeah, bro. Yeah, you're right there. You're totally correct. I'm going 4 flat out of 5. 4 flat out of 5. Learn to use the door. Because he acted all crazy when dude was like, you guys didn't go. He's like, yeah, of course. That's where we walked into places. I'm like, they never explain why he never used one now, though.
So I'm at a 3.5. You're at a 4.25. Chris, did we get your rating? I don't think we did.
Yeah, I feel like, I expected you guys to, because I remember I was trying to go off for, like, I guess ratings for the last time I was on. So I was like, oh, they'll probably go like 2 or 3. I should probably just put it around there. I can, yeah, I'll stick with it. Like, it's almost a 3. I said 2.275 out of Muhammad Amir is awesome.
All right.
He really is.
He's so good. That show, Mo, is so good. That show is so good.
Baby, come back.
Yeah. And I love the fact that his TV show has a reference to my hometown of Palestine, Texas.
Get out of here.
Yes. Because
now I gotta watch it. My mom started watching it and she said it's a little bit too dark for me. I'm like,
it gets dark, but it's like there's like so much heart in it. I gotta finish it, but like just like it's so good. You gotta watch it. It's so good.
Now I will say, last question: who was the weakest link in the movie for each one of you?
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, me first. Oh,
if you need me to, I will.
I'll go with the editor. There is a problem in Hollywood. There is a problem of somebody just not going back and, like, as you said with the doors, like, you don't ever want to go back and explain that.
That's a really good pick.
There's a really I feel like there's issues. Like, I love She-Hulk, but there's just like, this is weird. Like, and it's not having to do with the story or the action or anything. And like, as with this, and I just feel like it's across all the films in Hollywood right now. There's just some sort of like, there's something that's going on with pacing or structure. And like, this is an editor's job. Like, especially like Steve, you would understand this of like with music, like you don't record every single thing at the same time. It's made separately. Yeah. Like, unless you have tons of money to do it on analog tape. You just stitch it together. Like, you stitch it together. Same thing with video. Like, that was the one cool thing I can announce. Like we have another music video coming from the guy who made the Cashville music video.
Oh, I was going there, man. I was going there.
I'll send you guys some stuff that he's already made. But like, there's like, it's all patched together, and that's why an editor that's why they give an Oscar for editing, because it is so hard to, like, you create all this stuff and then you have to turn it in to a cohesive story. And that's not the director. That's not the actors. That's the editor.
That's true. That's true. So, that was missing in Black Adam. There are some parts that were definitely missing that in Black Adam.
Like, why do we need that? Why is it taking so long to say Shazam? Just take off the mask. Like, why did you have to run into the water before?
I did. Yeah. Skip fighting these people. I'm taking off the mask and I'm saying Shazam, calling it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Dan?
Oh, I'm going with the kid for sure. I have a thing about kid sidekicks, and I think this goes back as far as Iron Man 3. You got to bring it. You got to bring it if you're going to be a kid sidekick. And unfortunately, DC just doesn't put enough work into that. So yeah, definitely the worst part of it. Especially again, that whole, that speech of encouragement that got the townspeople all charged up. I thought that was very forced.
He's just speaking regularly. He's not shouting.
He's really not
It's so weird.
Yeah.
But if I had to go actor, I would definitely go with him. He was annoying as shit.
Dude, my weakest link probably is everyone's favorite person. Hawkman or Falcon.
Hawkman. You didn't like him?
I was not into him.
I thought he was good. I think
was too much.
You know what it was for me is that I think that it just made me want more, like more backstory. I want to know more about it.
Yeah.
But he's just monotone all the
super angsty. It's like common.
Let's go.
It's like if they had common plan.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, come on, bruh.
In his indestructible ship, is he going back to the bathroom and doing lines of coke? Like, he is so intense all the time.
He is all the time. And then the thing is, I'm like, the ship got messed up. And I'm like, didn't you just say the ship was indestructible, G?
So it still flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if I would. I wouldn't put it on the actor. Like, it's the director telling us, like, and just like, man, you really. I think you tried your hardest to say that line to The Rock as hard as you could, but it's just there was no saving how stupid that line you just said was.
Dude,
of like,
for real.
Kick his butt. It's like, that's what you're gonna say. You're not gonna say like tear his fucking head off or something like that. Like, because your whole spiel has been how you don't want him to kill. Like, kick his butt. Like, what?
And the funny thing is, I was watching this other YouTube, and these are things I didn't catch because I just love The Rock. I didn't catch any of it. He's like, the hard thing is they were telling everyone not to kill anyone. And the first thing Hawkman says to Black Adam is, surrender or die. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that is
like editor, like you need to be able to catch these, like the whole, like, you're trying to ship us with Smasher and oh god,
yeah,
what's her whirlwind? Cyclone, like, and then they never go back to it, and just like editors, like, okay, if you're not going to do anything with this, you're just going to piss people off on the internet. So just cut it. Like, cut the scene, and then the movie's a minute shorter. Like,
and I think here's the thing: I have a feeling, as much as I love this movie, I do believe I'm going to like Shazam more. I love watching The Rock. I do love watching The Rock, but Shazam knows how to pull my heartstrings. And after seeing that trailer, I have a feeling, man, whoo, that's going to be good. Yeah. That's going to be a really good movie. And I hope that is the one movie where I'm like, you know what? Black Adam would fit there. Yeah. Showing him there. Sure. Like, wait a minute. You say Shazam too?
Makes perfect sense, actually.
Exactly. Be like, why do you say it? Yeah. Like, oh yeah. You know, I think like, it would be fun.
How many people can Shazam share power with? And it's like, there's two Shazams? But like, can't you only have one?
That
champion?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe Dan knows. I don't have no idea on that.
No. I'm not a Shazdorian.
Well,
yeah, I'll accept a Shazam versus Black Adam film next. I don't want to see Superman versus Black Adam.
No, dude, not yet.
Yeah. Black Adam would kill because remember, Shazam doesn't do that thing.
Yeah,
Black Adam will be like, my goal is to kill you as quickly as possible. Is my thing, and so that's the one thing Black Adam has is, Superman doesn't kill off the jump. Black Adam immediately goes for the jugular and says, we're not going to have this, let me see where you're at, like, power-wise. I'm going to assume you're really powerful and just go for the jugular. Yeah. So that will be, but I don't think, that's going to be so far in the future, I think, Superman versus Black Adam. I mean, if they do that, that would mean that they're closing out some sort of section of DC.
Their own version of a phase. Yeah,
they're closing out a phase. Right now, this is the very beginning of a new phase of Superman that I'm so excited to see. But I'm glad Dan really pushed me to watch this. I'm really excited. I'm excited for the future of
I'm a very pushy person.
Yeah. And I would say for my asterisks of like when I said like, my rewatchability of all three movies, I think it's just like it has to do with just like what was I going to say? I completely forgot it. I think I would just watch Dashcam just because of the weirdness of it. It's like, I need to figure out what the fuck I thought about this movie. Whereas like, I'm pretty just like, okay, that was this and it did its job. I don't need to rewatch Black Adam.
That's fair.
All right. Yeah.
I'm with Chris.
Not
immediately.
Not
again.
immediately.
I do want to watch Dashcam again. I think that there's more to this movie, and I think if I get like why our some would be like have that instant dislike for it, especially with the message. But there's a hidden gem in that movie. I'm telling you.
We have to start a podcast that's just based upon Dashcam, just to try to figure out what the fuck it's about.
That's like 2 episodes, easily 2 episodes. Hey, real quick before we go, because that's actually my daughter's 19th birthday today, and she's got shit to do.
Happy birthday!
And I'm holding this young lady up, but I did, just to say that we did this real quick. 30 seconds each. What were your thoughts? Starting with Chris, Game of Thrones finale. Go.
Me? Oh gosh.
Or excuse me, House of the Dragon finale season. Go.
Got hot D. I mean, damn you for just giving actually they didn't even end it on a what do you call it, a cliffhanger. So I feel like I could see myself dropping off because I'm just not enjoying it. It's trying to recreate that magic of the first season, and it didn't do it.
Well said. Steve.
Likewise, it seemed like it.
Real quick though, because sorry, I don't mean, but this surprises me because you were very high on it just a week ago.
I was super high. Remember though, what can
sticking the landing?
Yes, and these people were just like, okay, remember how things normally go to commercial break and come back and finish what we were thinking? Yeah, wrong again. We're stopping right now. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell because I didn't look at the time and it stopped. I said, oh, I'm done. I'm probably done. Next year, I'm just going to do a binge, maybe. Yeah. But I'm done, dude. If you weren't leading anywhere, I'm done. Yeah. And they weren't leading anywhere. What about you, Dan?
I got to say, like I said before, I was thinking of starting a podcast just to cover this episodically, breakdown. And I'm so glad I didn't because this whole season for me was super underwhelming, super dark. And I don't mean dark as in a sense of like literally dark on screen. It was very hard to watch. Again, I'm really pissed off that they took off Millie Alcock and they substituted her for, and I forget her name right now, but not a great Rhaenyra in my opinion. She's okay, but in comparison, not great. I don't think that they really did enough with Matt Smith to make Daemon that interesting of a character, other than we know that he's like a loose cannon and that you can't be trusted or anything like that. But yeah, I was kind of just sticking around to see what would happen, for the finale, and
nothing did.
Nothing really happened. Well, sticking you can say sticking the landing because someone had a real hard landing at the end of that there.
Oh,
but it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't. It's like, I'm not a teenager and I just need to see a pair of titties on screen to be all happy about a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all it was. It was like, look, dragons. Oh, great. Yeah. I've seen dragons before. So it just didn't do anything for me. I think I'm with you, man, where I'm just it'll be on my radar and I'll definitely be watching and waiting for something more important and exciting for that, more importantly rather for it to happen. But I think I might just end up binging it next season because we have like 2 years, I think, before it even comes out again. I think that might just drop me off completely, dude. 2 years in between, I might be done.
With Rings of Power, for all its flaws, it got me back into the mythology. Like, man, I kind of want to go back and reread the books and watch the movies again, and maybe try this Silmarillion again. But with this, it's just I went on YouTube and I watched the summary of what actually happens in the Dance of Dragons. It's like, well, that's going to be a stupid ending anyways. I don't want to watch this.
Who does? Who does? And that's why I'm just I think I might be out and I might binge while I'm doing other stuff. If there's nothing else to watch. Yeah. If there's other stuff to watch, I'm going to be like, no, I didn't see Hot D this time. Nope. Yeah.
Being that Hot D and Ring of Power came out pretty much at the same time, for me, that was a little bit too much of an overload to watch both. And I decided to watch, because I love Game of Thrones, I decided to go with House of the Dragon. And I regret that now. So now I'm going to actually go back and try to put my attention towards, Lord of the Rings and see if I can actually appreciate it. Because I did notice after episode 3, it started picking up for me.
Definitely, my recommendation would be go and listen to the PCL's guys.
Yes,
Joe Stark, and what's his name?
Billy Blinks.
Billy Blinks. They did an amazing job of explaining all the lore, and I feel like if I hadn't had that, I feel like what we had with Dune, just if you haven't read the source material, or have a bit of a grasp of what's going on, it could be very confusing, and I remember I love the Lord of the Rings books, but I'd never read anything outside of that other than The Hobbit. It's I had to go online on YouTube and watch a lot of stuff just as oh shit. And then having Joe and Billy Blinks to explain everything really kind of heightened that. So I would definitely, as you're watching, go back and listen to those, or the people on what's it called, the Ringerverse podcast people. They do the really good in-depth analysis of everything.
Hey, guys, it has been a lot of fun. Chris.
Thank you guys so much for having me on here.
Absolutely, man. And, you know, good luck on the tour. I'm sure it's going to go great for you, and we will definitely try to catch that in November. I believe it's November 26th is the date that I'm trying to get to.
I forgot to say, it's at Bottom of the Hill, which is apparently like a really historic venue.
It's a great club. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Hope to see you guys. I'll be very excited. I might have a headache. I might have a headache that night.
Well, you're in San Francisco. There's plenty to take care of that. You'll be fine. Hey, Chris, where can people find you, man?
Best place would probably be livevolk.com. It's for my band Volk. It's still trying to sell out here, you know. But any of the socials, it's either Volk_band or Facebook's Live Volk. And I'll try to sell you on, you know, liking my band or buying merch and things like that.
Absolutely.
It won't be hard, folks.
And anybody listening right now, like if you guys, I do this for any of the podcasts I'm on, just like if you see Volt coming through and you want to come see the show, message me on Facebook or message any of the Volk accounts and we'll get you on the guest list.
Yeah.
And so, Chris, just so you know, this is actually going on Patreon first, but just in a few days, because I want people to hear this and, you know, and obviously support Volk. We're going to have it out on the main feed in just a few days.
Cool.
All right.
Sweet. Yeah.
Well, brother, good talking to you.
I forgot to say, I'm so excited. Like, I wanted to say this personally. I loved your guys' podcast on Taylor Hawkins and the
tribute
concert. Yeah, that was good stuff, and it was good. I think you talked about how Foo Fighters were kind of the band that came up when you were younger, and as a Nirvana lover, you know, Dave Grohl and Foo Fighters have been very like. I started playing guitar because of Nirvana.
Yeah.
Like, wow. So Foo Fighters coming up like that was like a big healing process for me. Like that was like the first big death of me being young, you know. And so Foo Fighters has always been an important band to me. Like Dave Grohl, you know, awesome. And I appreciate you guys kind of articulating a lot of the grief I think a lot of us felt.
Oh man, it was totally real. I mean, that's one thing that we can definitely talk about is particularly to myself. I love that band so much, man. Totally, so much. So yeah, thanks for saying that, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I love getting to come on or listening on the show and like listening about your concerts experience and things like that. So yeah, thank you guys for all you guys do.
Hey man, listen. Next time you come back on, we're going full music because obviously you have a lot to say,
baby.
No, for real. You guys had a lot to say, and I want to hear it. And I felt kind of bad because like, well, shit, there was so much to talk about, and we had to talk about Grimcutty, so I was feeling a little bit of guilt right there.
For the record, I don't know if Steve and I realized we were being recorded.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's fine. No,
you know, have a 3-hour.
It made for a great long show, so we're perfect. And it's Patreon. So
all right. I gotta tell Steve about a bunch of cool new pedals I got. So
yes, dude, on the record, we got to do it, man.
Well, yeah, because we've been talking about the equipment show for quite some time now, the rig show. So that will happen.
Hell yeah. Cool.
All right,
thank you guys.
Yeah, and thank you, Steve. Anything before we go?
That's it. Hey, check out Volk anywhere you can see them. I promise you will not be disappointed. You're going to have a blast, and you have got to see how Chris rocks the stage, then rocks off the stage. I love you guys. Peace.
Yeah, that is no bullshit. We have seen them, and honestly, this is not just because Chris is on the show. Like, if you've been listening, we love this band, and go see Volk because you're going to get your freaking socks rocked off, man. They were so good and such a great act, and it's amazing that so much sound's coming from two people. So, any chance you get to see Volk on the road, check them out.
Yeah, catch me before I'm 50 years old or 60, and I try to jump off the stage and break my leg.
Break your Achilles.
You get to talk to them while they're still like not super famous, so they're going to be all cool and everything before they get the big heads. You know what I mean? So you want to catch them now before they get the big heads.
Just trying to sell out here, folks.
That's right.
All day.
All right.
Selling up full time. All right, guys, be good to yourselves. Be good to the people around you. Peace.